Time has come to play some football after a couple of weeks of camp. The long narrative that is the 2019 season is about to have its first chapter written here in Philadelphia tonight.
So what are you going to do? You're here for a reason, for one common goal. And we all know what that is. To hold that trophy and get back there again.
Wentz is going deep, and it is caught by Deshaun Jackson.
We know who we are. We about to show the world who we are. Put it out there.
He's hit. He's sacked.
Fletcher Cox.
Put it on the line. Everything you got. Introduce us to our brand of football, man.
As the Birds take the field tonight to get the 2019 season underway here at Lincoln Financial Field as they take on the Tennessee Titans. Hi everyone, Scott Graham alongside my new broadcast partner Ross Tucker, who's playing hurt tonight. A little touch of laryngitis, but I like the fact that you're a gamer and you're in there for this one.
Hey, I've been waiting for this a long time. There is no way I'm not going to get through tonight somehow, some way.
You take a look at this team, and of course they ended last year on a high note, maybe one play away from being in the NFC Championship game. They did not sit back, though, Ross. They got a team that's going to have a completely different look in some areas, and they bolstered themselves offensively.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, let's start with Carson Wentz and being able to get the franchise quarterback under contract for the long haul. That lets them really plan everything else, Scott, out around that. Then you go to the running back, Jordan Howard, still young, exactly what they needed for short yardage, goal line, a banger, kind of what they had with LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi in the Super Bowl year. Obviously, Deshaun Jackson's back. That's been maybe the highlight of training camp so far. And then how about 1, 2, 3 draft picks, the first 3, all on the offensive side of the ball?
Now, on the defensive side of the ball, the big problem last year was the injuries that they had in the defensive backfield. They have shored that up, and there's also a little bit more veteran depth along the inside of the defensive line.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, Malik Jackson is an upgrade over Haloti Ngata a year ago. He's such a good pass rusher inside. They got Vinny Curry back, who's happy to be back after what he called a long offseason. At the linebacker level, you've got Zach Brown, who's a former Pro Bowl player. And the secondary isn't just Andrew Sendejo, who they brought in, Scott. You also have guys like Ronald Darby, Rodney McLeod coming back from injury. So last year's injuries helps this year's depth.
Now, you are not going to see Carson Wentz tonight out on the field. The starting quarterback is going to be Nate Sudfeld, who's gotten a little bit of time, certainly in the preseason, a couple of regular season games, and he told us yesterday it's kind of coming around for him now.
Well, it's year 3, and it should. You know, he said before he'd go up to the line of scrimmage, and there's like 10 things going through his mind. Now it's really only 2 or 3, and he's sick of hearing about how he has no experience. The only way to get experience is to get experience. He is really looking forward to playing with these guys tonight.
Eagles fans have been waiting a long time. The long wait is over as the 2019 season gets set to go. We'll be back with the lineups and the opening kickoff for the Eagles and Titans coming up next. AAA Roadside is our strong side. Go ahead at AAA.com. Bud Light, keep it crisp. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. NRG, the official energy provider of the Philadelphia Eagles. And tonight's broadcast is presented by Rothman Orthopedics at Jefferson Health, the official orthopedic and healthcare partner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, Lincoln Financial Field is the place. The Eagles in the middle of the field for the coin toss at the end of a very warm day here in Philadelphia, and we are certainly ready to go as football comes back again. Third man of our broadcast crew, Dave Spadaro, joins us from the sidelines. How's it going?
Well, it's going great, Scott. Ross, welcome to the broadcast. We can't wait to work with you. And tonight, you guys have talked about Nate Sudfeld and some of the players who the Eagles acquired also in the offseason. There aren't going to be a whole lot of starters tonight, but we are going to see Jordan Howard, Eagles running back in uniform. We have a question here. Who's the middle linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles? Nate Gary gets the call tonight. How about defensive end? Where is the depth? Keep your eye out for players like Josh Sweat, Deshaun Hall, Sharif Miller. And then on offense, look at the edges. 2 young tackles. Andre Dillard, the first-round draft pick, starts at left tackle. And Jordan Mailata, a phenomenon last summer. Well, is he an NFL player? We start to find out more about him tonight, starting at the right tackle position. And oh, by the way, Scott, it's beautiful down here right now. I'm looking up. The sky is great. Big weather challenges, problems potentially coming in about a half an hour. It could get very interesting down here on the field at Lincoln Financial Field.
And Dave will be back with his 5-day forecast in just a moment. Doug Peterson, they told us yesterday about the way things have changed. regard to how coaches look at preseason games and their time with the ones facing the ones in individual practices. How he gets a lot of extra time right there and some great reps for the ones in regular practice.
Well, he said that they've been doing more one-on-ones in practice than he ever has before. 70 to 75% of the reps are the ones versus the ones. So he feels like they're getting that good quality working.
Donnell Pumphrey's going to take it from 7 yards deep on that opening kickoff, trying to turn a corner, not quite to the 20, and a flag on the very first play. Gutty call.
Well, you know what Donnell Pumphrey just said there? There's no way I'm making the team touching the ball down. My only shot is to try to make something happen.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 94. Half the distance to the goal line. First down, Philadelphia.
Alex Kemp, his second year as a referee, makes the call, and the Eagles get backed up. Nate Sudfeld, 20 out of 25 in his career. That touchdown pass came to Nelson Aguilar in the final game of the season last year. His one completion last season. And he is going to have one of the newest additions in the backfield for him, as Jordan Howard is on the field right now as the lone setback on first down from the 8-yard line. And Howard showing some patience. Got himself 4 out to the 12. Take a look at the starting lineups, brought to you by Ticketmaster, the only official resale marketplace of the NFL where 100% of the tickets are verified by Ticketmaster. Visit Ticketmaster.com/Eagles. You get an eye on Charles Johnson, Greg Ward, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Dillard and Mailata are the tackles, Pryor and Vaitai the guards, and Stefan Wisniewski gets the start at center. The regular offensive line pretty much gets the night off tonight. Call it 2nd and 6. Sudfeld going up top. Arcega-Whiteside. Oh, what a catch. Did he make it? No, they say he trapped it out across the 45. He is a marvelously talented physical specimen, and Ross,
He did not catch it, but that is exactly what Arcega-Whiteside brings to the table. All through training camp, he's made a bunch of different plays, especially in the red zone. And what impresses me the most about him, Scott, is he's even a better kid than he is a player. I mean, he speaks 3 languages. He interned with Condoleezza Rice while he was at Stanford. Pretty much what you would expect from a Stanford kid.
Miles Sanders is in the game. He was split wide, now in the backfield on 3rd down and 6. Sudfeld firing, tipped, and incomplete. He was trying to get it to Goddard out at the 20. And the Eagles will be forced to punt it away. Their first drive. There is Miles Sanders, the rookie out of Penn State. Second leading rusher in the Big Ten last year. And boy, has he opened some eyes already in his first couple of weeks here in camp.
And it was nice to see him out there on 3rd down, because that's one of the things people really want to watch from Miles Sanders here in the preseason, is how he does in pass protection. Now he's on the punt coverage, trying to show he provides even more value.
Cameron Johnston, who had himself a year last year, lets it go from the 1. Adam Humphries backed all the way up to his 28-yard line. And he's got a quarter to turn. Look out, punter's got to get him. And Johnston forces him out of bounds in Eagles territory after a big return from Adam Humphries. Now, we told you about the Eagles offense and the number of players getting a night off tonight. The number of players on the defensive side for Jim Schwartz also depleted to a certain degree by some injuries. Will these guys be ready to go by the beginning of the season? You certainly hope so. No reason to risk a couple tonight. And of course, Jalen Mills on the PUP list and Kamu Grugier-Hill, who just got injured, would not have been able to go tonight anyway. So the Titans taking over at the 49-yard line for their first drive. And a flag before the snap. False start on Tennessee.
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty.
There's Jalen Mills. The foot injury last year. Trying to work his way back. Started the first 8 games last season. It's not like you could miss him in a crowd, though, right?
Not with that hairstyle, that's for sure. You know, I said it earlier, though, Scott, one of the real benefits of all the injuries last year is the Eagles now have 6-7 defensive backs that have played a lot of football for them.
Titans will start at 1st and 15 now. And their quarterback, familiar name in Philly, Marcus Mariota, with his first completion to Humphries across the 50. They get back the penalty yardage and a couple more down to the 47. Josh Sweat on the tackle, and he is getting a start along with Vinnie Curry, Malik Jackson, Trayvon Hester starting on the inside of the defensive line. As far as the linebackers are concerned, Gary Brown and L.J. Fort get the start here tonight. You don't often see 3 linebackers at the same time. Jones and Douglas on the corners. Sandejo and Countess are the safeties. Second down out of an I formation. It's another familiar name, Dion Lewis, with a carry to the 43-yard line. About 3 more yards, third down coming up.
Tackle there by Zach Brown, one of the offseason additions, and that's really what he does, Scott. I mean, this guy is a tackling machine for the Redskins the last few years. Made the Pro Bowl in 2016. He's a run and hit guy. He's one of the bigger linebackers they have, but he also can really, really run. He's a high school sprint champ. Chases down a lot of plays from the backside.
223 tackles the last 2 seasons for the Redskins. Defense trying to hold here on third down as the Titans got to get it down to the 39. Mariota out of the shotgun with some time with the receiver. Humphries, depends on where they spot him. I think he might have gotten it as he sprawls out of bounds, tackled there by Avonte Maddox.
And it's a first down for the Titans, but that's pretty darn good coverage by Avonte Maddox, who is just so versatile, playing safety, corner, and nickel. I think his best spot is probably right there in the nickel, going against a guy like Adam Humphries, who the Titans gave big money to this offseason. That's a pretty darn good job to only give up 2 yards there.
Malcolm Jenkins, street closed for the night tonight. As Mariota finds Humphries again. It's been all him all the time so far. That's a gain of almost 10. A little bit better than 9 yards before Nate Gary knocks him down.
And Gary's somebody that they might have to count on early in the season. Linebacker coach Ken Flagel really loves Gary because of how smart he is and the fact that he can play all 3 spots. Like a lot of these Eagles linebackers, a former safety. He's a very heady player.
Looks like it's a running situation. Derrick Henry, the lead back for the Titans, taking the night off tonight. But Lewis began his career as an Eagle. There for play action. Mariota throwing, open man. Did he get his feet down? Officials take a look at it. No, incomplete. Darius Jennings was open on the sideline, and he's slow to get up.
Ran an out route against Sidney, and you see that looks like the first thing that came down was his right knee out of bounds. Hard to tell what hurt him there, but it looked like he fell on the ball at the very end.
And it also looked like, as he was trying to drag the 2 feet to see if he could keep them in, that one might have dragged just a bit, but I feel like you're right. We're certainly not going to try to figure out what it is, but we do know we've got a break in the action, scoreless here in the first. Scoreless here in the first with Tennessee on a drive. Bud Light, keep it crisp.
One of the guys, Scott, we're going to take a real long look at this preseason is Josh Sweat, because Chris Long and Michael Bennett aren't here anymore. And so right now, Sweat is battling for that number 4 defensive end job, but the way that Jim Schwartz rotates his defensive linemen, that's a very important position. He's gotten off to a good start in camp.
Third down and short as the Titans try to convert. Play action. Mariota wants to go up top. Instead, goes to the safety valve, and Humphries is there for another first down catch down to the 26 after a pickup of 4.
Actually, pretty good coverage by L.J. Fort. The defensive line got in there and got some penetration, and Fort had to cover a slot receiver like that. That is not easy for a linebacker, which is why you can see all the Eagles on the sideline dapping him up. They know that's pretty impressive that he was able to get that done.
Ford, a free agent. Career high in defensive snaps last year. Playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's Lewis. Well, he's hard to find sometimes in the middle of that defense, and he's made a career of that and being able to make plays out in space as he gets it here down to the 24-yard line. Pickup of about 2 yards on first down.
Nice job off the edge by Andrew Sendejo, one of the free agent additions for the Eagles that I really like. One of my favorite players in the league, Scott, when he was with the Vikings, just because he's so physical. Watch the left side of your screen. He's going to come hard, defeat the block by Jennings, get in there, and make the tackle. He's as physical of a safety as there is in the NFL, and the coaches were raving about him yesterday.
Blitz is coming. Mariota sidesteps it and throws it away. Good coverage downfield. Once again, pressure on the quarterback.
And it was Hassan Ridgeway, Scott, a guy the Eagles traded a 7th-round pick for from the Colts. You'll see Ridgeway's been disruptive. Left side of your screen, he knifes in between the left guard and the center, gets in there, forces Mariota off his spot so that Mariota has to throw it away. Vinny Curry in pursuit as well, but that's a good sign when a guy competing for your 4th D tackle spot is being disruptive in the backfield against the starting offensive line for the Titans.
Tennessee's 2 for 2 on third down on this drive. Mariota's got all kinds of time. Going to the same guy, but this time good coverage from Maddox, and he can't get it into Humphries. We'll see whether or not the Titans elect to go for it here in this situation, or whether they're going to bring the field goal unit on.
Maddox is working in the slot against Humphries. Humphries tries to run him off. Watch how Maddox changes directions and gets underneath that. If that's a well-thrown ball, Scott, he probably picks that off. That's how good his change of direction is. I'm telling you, he is going to become a fan favorite here. Titans going for it. Why kick a field goal? It's the preseason.
So they'll try to get the first down. They've got to get it to the 16-yard line to do so. Bunched receivers up on top. Mariota throwing. Got it in there, but Humphries couldn't haul it in. Gary closed with Sendejo, and the Eagles will take over on downs.
2 big plays by Sendejo on that drive, already paying dividends. One of the big topics for the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason has been Nate Sudfeld and whether or not he's ready to go. But I'll tell you, Scott, he did some really good things last preseason. You see him look off the safety and then throw a deep bomb to Shelton Gibson. And I think he's a better athlete, more creative than he gets credit for. Look at him falling off his back foot under pressure and drops an absolute dime in the corner of the end zone. This is really impressive. And he told us yesterday, this is something that he's been working on. You know, trying to make those throws off of platform, which means you don't really have both your feet underneath you. That's as good as it gets right there. He told us yesterday also, he's so excited about the 2s and the 3s that they have at wide receiver and being able to play with them. He thinks it's the most talented group that they've had.
Across his tape breakdown tonight, presented by Wawa. It's one of the guys he's obviously excited to be throwing to. And by the way, a point of clarification coming on that young man before people start jumping all over us. We'll get there. First down for the 23-yard line. And a little bit of a running lane out to the 25-yard line. And there is Miles Sanders, 1,274 yards last year. He was all Big Ten. 4,500 yards in high school. He was a guy who had to wait behind Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to wait behind somebody, that's a pretty good guy to wait behind. But everyone's just been so impressed how quickly he's picked things up after missing all of the spring with a hamstring injury.
On play action, right down the middle, and got it for a first down. Up to the 50-yard line, 24 yards on the play, and the Eagles get their first down of the night.
And look at Nate Sudfeld wanting to go right on the ball and run tempo. This is a great sign if he can do this successfully.
So quickly to the line of scrimmage. Sanders trying to be patient. Not a whole lot there. A gain of a yard into Titans territory.
Dallas Goedert, a guy that really has taken off here in the spring and in the summer as a second-year player, especially, Scott, when you're from a small school like he is. The chance to be able to really elevate your game that second year. I know that was big for me, coming from South Dakota State. The jump up in competition, it took him a little while to get used to it last year.
Sanders trying to find the corner and cannot. Ended up losing yardage back in Eagles territory. You talk about what it is they've got with Goddard, and in the situations where he's on the field at the same time with Ertz, I mean, that can be a very, very difficult tight end tandem to contend with. Most teams, you're bringing two tight ends in, you're in a running situation, but they've got all the options in the world once Zach Ertz puts the pads and the helmet back on again.
Yeah, I'm not sure by the end of this year if people won't consider Dallas Goedert to be a top 20 tight end in the NFL, maybe even better than that. And so I would expect the Eagles to be in that personnel grouping quite a bit.
So it's 3rd down and long now. They've got to get it to the Titans 40. Pass rush picked up. Flag on the play. Throw behind Goddard, and he can't one-hand it in. Have to wait and see about the flag.
Illegal hands in the face. Offense, number 69. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Matt Pryor called for the penalty. Second-year player out of TCU. Those are the things that Doug was talking about with us yesterday, too, eliminating some of those penalties that kind of stall things for them. He's talking about starting quickly in games, and the pre-snap penalties and penalties like that are the things that kept them from really getting going in the first quarter last year.
Well, they only scored 41 points in the first quarter all year.
And they know they've got more firepower than that. There's a opportunity for a return. And the 15-yard line after a 45-yard punt and a 10-yard return from Adoree Jackson. The guy everybody was talking about as we came into this season was the guy who came back home again. DeSean Jackson will join us on the other side. Well, as camp has begun, we have seen the combo beginning to heat up. Carson Wentz to DeSean Jackson. Back once again. In fact, here on Tuesday, a gorgeous 60-yard throw. Carson says, I'm not sure I could overthrow him because he runs under everything.
Well, and we all know about that, Scott. But what's been so impressive in training camp has been how much he's improved as a route runner, doing everything else, all the underneath stuff. Everyone knows that he's the best deep ball guy in the league, but it's the fact that he has added and improved his skill set, which I think is going to make him even more dangerous this year than when he was here the first time.
3-time Pro Bowler, now 32 years of age, and Doug Peterson's got somebody who can take the top off the defense or stretch things out. And that is huge because it was something that they were missing last season. So as the Titans come out, Mariota's night appears to be over, and Ryan Tannehill now, the former Dolphins quarterback, takes over for Tennessee. The defense holding strong on first down as we take you down to Dave Spadaro.
I'm here with number 10, DeSean Jackson. I speak for everybody when I say, welcome back. What's it been like?
Man, it's been great, man. Obviously happy to be back here in Philadelphia, man, where, I figure this is my home. It's been my home for a long time, 6 years. So just happy to be back, man, in front of the fans, man. It's a great opportunity, man.
Do you have a sense of the offense and what you think you can do with this offense?
Oh, man, definitely. This offense right here is going to be very special, man. We got a lot of playmakers in that room. Obviously in the receiver room, Alshon, Nelly, and guys right there have been playing some great football, too. So the addition to have me in there with the tight ends and the running backs we got, man, this definitely could be a dangerous offense.
Deshaun, Ross talked about your improved route running. Do you think you're playing your best football in your career?
Definitely, man. I feel like at the age 32, man, I feel like I'm getting younger, man. I really feel like my first couple years in the league, man, I'm rejuvenated. It was a good sense to come back here, man. There's just a lot of energy feeding off of that. Coming back home, man, reunited with my team that I felt like always been my team.
DeSean Jackson, welcome back. Many big plays ahead.
Oh, yeah, we got some action for y'all this year, man. Stay tuned.
Get your popcorn ready. Third down, Tannehill with a rush coming. Oh, gets his receiver right in the hands, but Taywan Taylor can't hold on to it. And it'll bring up 4th down on the punting unit for Tennessee.
Good pressure off the edge there by Deshaun Hall, former 3rd-round pick, left side of your screen, working the hands to get on Tannehill. Still a good throw by Tannehill that needs to be caught, but Hall is one of those guys battling for the 4th, 5th defensive end job. And he flashed to me, too, with his physical ability. That's what these games are about, Scott. These games are about figuring out who is that 4th and 5th guy at every spot.
Brett Kern punting it away, and Pumphrey going to let it bounce. And a good directional punt as it It's out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. 5:37 to go here in the first quarter. After a 48-yard punt, the offense comes back. Gatorade, carbs to refuel, electrolytes to replenish. Kind of a nice, easy night for Jason Kelce. Hey, that's a good look for him. I like that.
Can you say somebody younger than you is your idol? that dude is my idol right there.
So funny. I was talking to his brother last year, and we spent a fair amount of time just talking about the speech after the Super Bowl win.
He sounded during that speech like I sound tonight.
Good job sticking it out through the laryngitis tonight, partner. First down for the Eagles on the 30. And Sudfeld play action with pressure coming. Good job of avoiding a rush. And finding the open man for first down yardage. That is J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Now, it looks like Arcega-Whiteside, but he's been asked, and in the King's Spanish, that C is pronounced like a TH. He would prefer Arcega-Whiteside, but he understands if we just settle for Arcega-Whiteside.
Well, I don't know what the King's Spanish is, but if he says Arcega, I'm going Arcega.
Born in Spain, moved to South Carolina at age 6. English his third language. On first down, Sudfeld in rhythm now. Flag on the play as Goddard's got a first down and more inside the 45. But we're going to have to see about the penalty.
I think it's against the Titans.
Well, that would be good news.
Illegal use of the hands of the face. Defense, number 44. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down for the Eagles.
So Kamale Correa gets called for the penalty, and the result of the play puts the Eagles in Titans territory now at the 44. Goddard has been active so far. That 14-yard pickup for the first down.
Back-to-back good plays by Nate Sudfeld. One time using his mobility to get it to Arcega-Whiteside. This time getting the ball out of his hands quickly, which is something he told us yesterday he really wanted to work on tonight.
And Howard gets a carry down to the 41, picking up 3. That's his second carry, so a couple of them for 8 yards for the new addition, Jordan Howard.
Take a look at Andre Dillard, left tackle, 77. Manning up Kamale Correa. I love how he gets his left hand inside and drives. You know, one of the knocks on him, or concerns at least, Scott, was as a run blocker. That is very well done right there, to replace his hands, get it inside, try to get hip to hip and run your feet. That's well done.
6'5", 315, and learning under Jason Peters. Not bad. Goddard again. They just simply can't cover him right now. Down to the 30 for a first down. He ran right past Wesley Woodyard. And the Eagles are moving now down inside the Tennessee 30.
Right, and this isn't like some backup that he's working against right there to the right side of your screen. Wesley Woodyard's played over 10 years in this league, and he cannot stay with Goddard. I mean, the one thing that we know early on here in this preseason is that Goddard has not been able to be stopped yet by the Titans. You almost feel like the Eagles could throw it to Goddard every play if they wanted to.
3 catches for 50 yards here in this first quarter. As we said, the Eagles offense looks like it's getting into a bit of a rhythm here now for Sudfeld. First down for the 29. And Howard pounding the middle. He is a north-south runner. And if you look back at what he's done, 3,300 plus yards in 3 seasons with the Chicago Bears. 24 touchdowns. You mentioned it in the open. He's going to provide that north-south tough inside running that the Eagles had with LeGarrette Blount. Maybe Jay Ajayi, although maybe a slightly different runner there, but that aspect is back when he carries a football. And he doesn't mind being the bread truck either. On second down, Sudfeld firing and misfiring. Charles Johnson laid out to try to catch it inside the 25. Can't haul it in. So Sanders now checks back in. There's those numbers. 3,370. The most rushing yards since 2016. That's good company he keeps.
Yeah, really. He's been underrated throughout his career for whatever reason, but he's especially good, Scott, short yardage and goal line, too.
Got to get it down to the 19. Late blitz coming, and they got him. LaShawn Sims coming from the corner spot, straight up the middle, and he makes the sack that results in a loss.
It's an overload blitz from the right side. I think it started with a low snap by Wisniewski, but Sudfeld got an overload blitz to the right side. They brought one more than the Eagles had to protect. That's one where Sudfeld really needs to try to get that ball out of his hand to somebody.
So now Elliott's going to come on, and he's going to attempt a 53-yarder. In a lot of ways, these long field goals since he became an Eagle have been his bread and butter. Plenty of leg, and he got it. 53 yards on the field goal for Elliott, and the opening score of the game and the preseason for the Eagles.
I swear he's better over 50 than he is under 50. He is as good of a long ball kicker as there is in the NFL. He's made so many big kicks. Did we ever find out, by the way, if Carson Wentz gave him his game check for that Giants field goal?
He said he was going to. If Carson Wentz says something, I believe Carson Wentz. He's an honest man.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that lies.
No,
that's for sure.
Right. And when you hit a 61-yarder to beat the New York Giants and really get things, that really was the launching point for what ended up happening that season. Yeah, the guy deserved the game check.
I wonder if Carson remembered that he was mic'd up when he said that.
Probably not. By and large, a productive drive for the offense. I would imagine from the look on Nate Sudfeld's face, there's also some missed opportunities that his head coach is pointing out. 8 plays, 35 yards, $1.48 off the clock. Drive Summary brought to you by Geico, saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. And a late flag comes in at the end of that kick return just across the 20-yard line. So we'll have to wait on the flag. Alex Singleton making the play on special teams.
He's a guy that's caught my attention for sure from the CFL.
During the return, holding, receiving team, number 51. 10-yard penalty. Tennessee ball, first down.
And so we want you to let us know where you're watching using the hashtag EaglesEverywhere for a chance to be featured on this broadcast. How about that?
I love it. I want to see some cool man caves.
You know, I know the guy that's in that shot, but anyway, I do.
Or woman caves. Why is it always man caves?
That's true. Well, I guess there's, well, let's just stay away from that side of things. Head on back to a football game. Tannehill, good job hiding the football on that play-action rollout, and he gets it into the hands of Darius Jennings. Very close to first down yardage out by the 21.
Trey Sullivan in coverage there. He's a guy that got a chance to play last year with all of the injuries.
Who did?
And he, right, I thought he acquitted himself pretty well. Former undrafted free agent out of Shepherd. He's not afraid to hit you, that's for sure.
Now 25 years old. Second down as time winds down here in the first quarter. And back to the ground on second and short. Good job closing up the hole, but second effort running is going to result in a first down. That was Jeremy McNichols carrying for the first down for Tennessee. As I said, good second effort running. Jeremiah McKinnon, who was called paint, but we're not sure why.
McKinnon and Hawkins are two of the young corners that have shown up every day. I've been at training camp. Skandrick's not a young corner. He's a guy that's been in the league a long time, trying to show what he can do for this team in the nickel slot.
Back to the ground they go. This time the hole closes up after a pickup of just 2. You look at who is going to be playing along the inside, and we talked about Hassan Ridgeway. I mean, that's a great flyer to take when you start talking about a 7th-round draft pick for a guy who, for a while, the Indianapolis Colts thought he was going to be a big part of what they were doing. Maybe revitalized here in Philadelphia. He makes the play there that brings us to the end of this first quarter. Eagles on top of Tennessee 3-0. Ready to start the second quarter. Tell you what, the sky might be ominous, but it's pretty beautiful right now. Eagles on top by a 3-0 score. Visit PhiladelphiaEagles.com/NFL100 to cast your vote for the greatest Eagles play ever.
What do they say, Scott? Red sky night, sailor's delight?
That's what they say. I don't say it, but that's what they say.
Who's they?
Why would they lie? On second down to begin the quarter, and Ryan Tannehill finds Michael Pruitt. It's going to be a first down for Tennessee out to the 40-yard line.
Working against Trey Sullivan, we were just talking about him. That time, Sullivan was actually working in the slot against Pruitt. One of the things that Jim Schwartz has done quite a bit during training camp is move these guys around. You know there's going to be injuries, so you want to make sure every guy knows more than one position, because you might have to move guys around during the season.
And all kinds of movement and a little bit too quick a start.
Number 66, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
We talked with Jim yesterday, and he has a very specific look and view of things, and he really has his mind wrapped around what he's trying to do. He also has a lot of confidence in the guys that will be coming back again. He hopes in time for the first game of the season where this defense is.
Yeah, he didn't seem too worried about the guys that have not been able to participate in 11-on-11 so far.
First down and 15. Tannehill feels the pressure coming, got away from it. Remember, he can run. And he skips out of bounds out across the 40-yard line out near the 42.
Deshaun Hall again. Look how long he is, how long his arms are. Deshaun Hall is at the top of your screen right there. You're going to see him working against the right tackle. Again, gets his hands inside. That's twice he's been close. He even pulled Tannehill's jersey down. So those are two pressures. He's showing up tonight.
Looked like the exact same move Brandon Graham made when he stripped Tom Brady. Straight up the middle, all kinds of daylight. Look out, McNichols into the secondary, deep into Eagles territory. He's all the way down to the 20-yard line. So a 37-yard run, but more importantly, from the Eagles' perspective right now, Hassan Ridgeway very slow to get up.
Well, the Eagles came with a run stunt. They had three linebackers in, and you see him get cut down on the backside. Both L.J. Fort and Ridgeway got cut down on the backside. That's where the hole was.
The good news is he's back up quickly as Tennessee is advanced to the edge of the red zone. More people rely on gives you more, like thousands of tickets to NFL games with the Verizon Up Rewards program. And we come back to play right now, and 6-play, 69-yard drive for the Titans, now sitting on the edge of the red zone as Tennessee tries to take the lead here early in the second. Ryan Tannehill has his team moving. And another open running hole. Great bounce off the initial hit by Dalen Dawkins.
And let's take a look, Scott, at the run before that. The one where they got a huge run. You'll see Ridgeway and Fort both get cut down on the backside. That's usually how big runs happen. And those are two guys fighting for roles. And then here's the last run. Again, you see a defensive lineman, that time Trayvon Hester, getting cut down in a heck of a collision there by Trey Sullivan.
Dawkins only 5'7". He had a little bit of a punch at the end of that run. It's second down and short now for Tennessee. Tannehill's got an open man. That's going to be a race to the pylon. And that is going to be short of the end zone. Khalif Raymond. And McKinnon got there just in time to keep him out of the end zone.
That is one heck of an effort by Jeremiah McKinnon. who's really known for his coverage. But if the Eagles can get in the backfield here, make a play, and you can see from either angle, it does not look like the ball crossed the plane over the pylon. Look for a run here.
They've spread it. And Tannehill pumping once, throwing for the touchdown. Michael Pruitt comes open in the end zone, and Tennessee caps off an impressive drive to take the lead.
Way too much time for Tannehill there. I actually thought it might be a quarterback draw, and I think the Eagles might have too, Scott. It looked like they slowed down their pass rush. There was no pressure whatsoever. Tannehill able to just sit there flat-footed. Take a look at the Eagles' pass rush. Tannehill stopped. When he sets up like that, there's no pressure there at all. Quarterback should not have a chance to double and triple clutch like that and come all the way back to the other side of the field.
Austin Barnard to try the extra point. The regular kicker Ryan Suckup taking the night off tonight. And Barnard missed it. Just a hook to the left. The extra point no good, but Tennessee on top by 3 now here early in the second.
Let's take another look at the touchdown there, Scott, and you'll see both Trayvon Hester as well as Josh Sweat, left side of the line. They're getting one-on-one blocks there. The offensive line slid to the right, so they're one-on-one. It's actually Bruce Hector and Josh Sweat, and they get no pressure whatsoever. You know, when you're down in the red area like that, you're just not going to be able to cover that long. For Michael Pruitt to go from the right side all the way to the left side, when you're the guy with the one-on-one, like Hector and Sweat were there, you got to win, or you at least got to get more pressure than that.
And so a 9-play, 89-yard drive as they talk it over on the sideline. And now Pumphrey has already returned one from nearly 8 yards deep in the end zone. Trying to return the kick of Austin Bernard, who just missed an extra point. And Pumphrey's this time decides discretion is the better part of valor as we go down to Dave Spadaro.
So a pretty fun story here. Last year in the regular season finale, Nate Sudfeld threw his first NFL touchdown pass to Nelson Aguilar. Big celebration, but only one problem. The football went into the stands to 10-year-old Cohen Zachman. So some negotiation went on. Sudfeld pleaded his case. Cohen came and visited the NovaCare complex. Nate got the football back, and guys, where do you think it is right now? Not in the man cave yet. It's still in a garbage bag. Hey, Nate, find a place for that football.
Decorating takes time. I mean, you know, you've got to find exactly what the composition of the room is going to be. Give the man a break. First down, and Sudfeld on the run. Gets away from pressure. Buys a little time and avoids a loss.
And it's a little thing, Scott, but that's a good sign right there. You know, sometimes throwing the ball away is a positive play. Nobody was open. I don't think he gets as much credit as he deserves. He's a better athlete than people realize. I mentioned that yesterday. His eyes lit up. He got a big smile. He said when he was in Indiana, they wanted him big, so he was over 240. Now he weighs 233, has really worked on his footwork, and it shows.
Big 6'6" back there. Looking at a second down now from the 25. With time. Floating it. It's there. It's caught. And this one could go to the house. Touchdown. Markin Michel. 75 yards. And the Eagles strike right back. He had the time, he had the open receiver, and good touch on the ball deep down the middle.
It all started, you said it, Scott, with the protection. Outstanding. Sudfeld steps up. Michel's running a deep post. That's against Adoree Jackson. That's their starting corner. And Markin Michel, one of the real stars of OTAs, able to beat a starting corner there. Michel is the brother of Sony Michel, running back for the Patriots.
Extra point is good. And that quickly, the Eagles back on top. Nate Sudfeld doesn't have to chase that ball. It's a preseason game.
All right, he's at the top of your screen, marking Michel. He's going to run a deep post against quarters coverage, which means there's 4 guys deep. And I'll circle him right here. You see Michel against Adoree Jackson. Adoree gets spun around, tries to go for the ball, not able to do it. And what a throw by Sudfeld to hit him exactly in stride. Man, that has to feel good for Michel. Went to UMass, played in the CFL last couple years, up in Calgary, trying to make a name for himself here in the NFL.
One very big play and a 2-play drive. Drive summary brought to you by Geico, saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. Now, you just make that play. Big catch and run. You were out on the field for special teams. They said, no, it's all right. It's all right. Take a breath. Wow. Going to get an attempted return here. Khalif Raymond takes it from a really odd angle, decides to return it and gets it out across the 20. You're in a situation like that and you're Sudfeld. So far, what you're trying to accomplish in this game, that's got to be, I'm not going to say a weight is lifted off your shoulders, but you got to feel awfully good about what just happened.
Yep, and he's shown a lot of positive things so far. There's been times where he gets the ball out of his hands quickly to Goddard. He showed some mobility in there. He dropped a dime on the deep post to Michel.
Well, the Titans come back out. And not a whole lot of room to run. Tannehill handing it off to Jeremy McNichol. Sharif Miller, rookie out of Penn State, making that tackle.
Miller's really getting his first time out there. That's got to feel good. Jonathan Cyprien is also out there for the first time. The former Tennessee Titan. A couple years ago, Scott, they gave him 4 years, $25 million. Last year he tore his ACL, and he's still kind of working back from that, trying to show the Eagles his versatility.
There's a quick bubble screen, and the Eagles get through the blockers. You got a flag on the play, and I believe that penalty is going to be against Taylor Lewan on the outside for the block that he threw. Blake Countess very slow to get up after that block by Lewan.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Lewan is your starting left tackle. I'm talking about a guy who's a 3-time Pro Bowler.
And that's got to be especially frustrating when you have a guy get injured on an illegal block, on a penalty. And Countess is a guy that the Eagles like both on special teams and his versatility, being able to play both safety and nickel.
Good news is he pops back up.
One of the storylines so far of camp has been some of the injuries at linebacker, which is why it's a good thing the Eagles signed Zach Brown this offseason. You see the way he can run and finish as a tackler. Just watch how agile he is. That's Quentin Nelson, the all-pro left guard for the Colts. Watch this dip right there. Dip, rip, make the play in the backfield. He did that an awful lot for the Washington Redskins the last few years, and provides, if nothing else, excellent veteran experience depth for the Eagles.
Ross's tape breakdowns presented by Wawa. And you know that the Eagles often are going to end up using 2 linebacker sets, and at some point or other, Bradham will be back. And you'll be able to move those 2 guys around. If you end up using 3 linebackers from time to time, it's just certainly more depth than they have had at that position.
Well, and it's just so nice to have somebody like him when you have Camus Grugier-Hill, who was having a really nice preseason training camp. When he goes down, it's nice to be able to have a guy like Zach Brown to see some of the key defensive additions for the Eagles, really at every level of the defense.
And it's all experience there. There's a lot of NFL experience in those 4 names that you got on the screen. Eagles declined the penalty, so it's going to be a 3rd down now and 9 for the Titans from their own 23. Tannehill has some time, has an open receiver, but does not have a first down. Anthony Firks, who the tight end, make the catch. Late flag comes in, After that hit around the 29-yard line, T.J. Edwards right there on the play.
There is no foul on the play. Fourth down.
Quick and to the point.
I always wonder what happens there, you know? I mean, somebody threw a flag.
Right.
They saw something.
Right.
Almost wondered if they thought maybe it was a helmet penalty.
We saw a lot of those in the preseason last year as it was the beginning of that being emphasized by the National Football League, and players adjusted. The officials kind of adjusted a little bit too. We saw far less of it as the regular season went on. That's Pumphrey back at his 20. A high punt. Kind of outkicked his coverage a bit. Pumphrey trying to set up some blockers on this near sideline. And he just stepped out of bounds across the 25. 55 yards on the punt, 11 yards on the return. The executive vice president and general manager, Howie Roseman. Good job of constructing this team right now that Doug Peterson, in talking to members of the media here this week, had to acknowledge might be the most talented team, top to bottom, that he has had since he took over as head coach.
Yeah, he told us that as well. On paper, it is the most talented team. But again, games are not won on paper. A lot of things have to go your way to have success. Peterson said it's his job to make everything jive. Which, by the way, jive, very underrated word. I don't think I've ever used the word jive, actually.
Well, you Princeton guys generally don't. Flag on the play. There's Josh Adams. It's across the 30-yard line, out near the 32. It would be a 5-yard pickup, but we'll see about the penalty.
Holding. Offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
The second penalty on Matt Pryor.
Second time Pryor's been penalized. And, you know, last year he had a really nice camp, but in the preseason games didn't play as well. He's had another nice camp, Scott. He's played both guards, both tackles. I mean, he is enormous. They might not have the best second string offensive line in the league, although I think it's up there. They certainly have the biggest.
6'7", 332. So on first down, they set it up for Adams, and they get some of it back. Out to the 25-yard line. Monty Hooker, the rookie out of Iowa, making the tackle.
Take a look at Andre Dillard, first-round pick for the Eagles. We have not mentioned his name yet tonight. You know what that means, right, Scott?
That's good.
That's a good sign. Watch this play. This is a little thing, but he is going to go ahead and invite the defensive end inside because he knows it's a screen. I love stuff like that, Scott. That is football intelligence. You're throwing a screen to that side. You take a wider set, invite the defensive end to come inside to make the throw easier. It's so well done.
Sudfeld once again takes the safety valve. A little bit of a juggle from Adams, who couldn't turn and run with it as he stopped at the 28. You talk about Dillard.
One more time, let's look at him right there, left tackle. He is just going to stone Kamalei Correa. Now, Correa is a pretty good pass rusher. That is as good as it gets right there. And that's what I saw all over his college tape. Unbelievable feet, and does such a nice job with his hands. He is silky smooth.
722 snaps last year. He allowed 1 sack and only 13 pressures. Oh, Sudfeld back to work, and he gets it to Arcega-Whiteside for the first down, out to the 39. That's a big third down hookup right there. And J.J. Arcega-Whiteside makes the catch.
Arcega-Whiteside, bottom of your screen, right there. He's going to run off, zone coverage, sits down against it, goes up and makes the play. The thing about Arcega-Whiteside is even when he's covered, he's not really covered. Kind of like Alshon Jeffrey, just because of how big of a body he has. In that basketball background, he's so good at keeping people on his back and kind of boxing them out.
There's Wendell Smallwood cutting it upfield and keeping the legs moving across the 40-yard line out to the 43. It didn't look like much, but he got 4.
That was a violent run by Smallwood, who I think gets forgotten for whatever reason. Scott, every time he's played, he's done a nice job. He's a darn good number 4, number 5 running back in this league. And you see him lower the boom there.
A trivia question, who was the Eagles' leading rusher last year?
Do I count? Can I say it?
Yeah.
Josh Adams. 5th different rusher in 5 years to lead the team in yards.
But there are your running backs. There are so many of them that they're working through. And obviously you know that Howard up on top, Miles Sanders, Darren Sproles comes back again. Corey Clement trying to come back from injury. I mean, it is a crowded running back room right now, but there's a lot of different potential options to choose from. And then they're going to have to decide how many running backs are they keeping.
Right. And the thing is, people always say, well, I wonder if they'll keep 4 or they'll keep 5. They don't even know that yet, because it depends on what injuries happen at other positions. You know, they don't really know until after the last preseason game what the health status is.
Smallwood out across the 45-yard line. After a 3-yard pickup, it'll bring up 3rd down.
Take a look at Big V, the right guard right there. We've known him as a tackle before. It's a little stunt outside. He keeps his man outside and able to hold him off. He did a pretty nice job at guard. I didn't know how that would work, Scott. We've seen him at both tackles, but with Brandon Brooks out, he's really held it down so far in camp at right guard. That's a good sign that he's showing that he even has some additional versatility.
Brandon Brooks making good strides in trying to come back quickly. That's a catch that just got away from Charles Johnson. He was trying to run before he caught the football at the 45.
Well, I think he knew that he was 4 yards short there of the 1st down. Let's take a look at Jordan Mailata this time, the right tackle, 2nd-year Australian. He thought a stunt was coming. And that's one of the things with Mailata that you have to keep an eye on is the football intelligence, FBI they call it. Remember, last year was his 1st year ever playing football. So little things like that. He thought he saw a stunt inside coming. It didn't happen. He was late to get back outside to his responsibility.
Johnston punting it away, and good coverage downfield as Khalif Raymond gets wrapped up immediately. It was Johnson that got there. 43 yards on the punt, and that's the net because there was no return. Julie Ertz, Carly Lloyd, and the rest of the U.S. women's national team is headed to Lincoln Financial Field on Thursday, August the 29th. Don't miss your chance to see the World Cup champions take on Portugal in an international friendly. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Well, Tennessee takes over once again from back at their own 13, under 6 minutes to go now till halftime. McNichols nowhere to go. They did a good job of penetrating into the backfield for a loss on the play. Zach Ertz, super fan over the course of the summer.
Oh man, I hope they have that framed in their house somewhere. That's amazing.
He trails her in championships now, right?
Yeah, you know, it's got to be so nice though to have a spouse that kind of knows what you're going through, the ups and downs of being a professional athlete.
On 2nd down and the full 10, good touch throw from Tannehill for 1st down yardage to Raymond on that far sideline. Let's take it down to Dave Spadaro.
Well, Scott, you guys were talking about Zach Ertz. I've got the Pro Bowl tight end here. And Zach, everybody's talking about this offense. Your perspective on what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously early, but obviously I'm liking what I'm seeing. Sudfeld out here balling, the 2 offense, I mean, really doing their thing. I thought Dallas had a really good couple of drives. The tight ends are doing well. So that's what I'm most excited to see.
Hey, listen, before this football thing started this summer, you went to France. You saw Julie and the United States women's soccer team win the Gold Cup, win the gold medal once again here. Your perspective on that as a sporting experience?
Yeah, it was fun to be a fan. You know, I went over there just to be a supportive husband and kind of enjoy the ride with her being over there. Obviously, I was there for 3 weeks. It was a really cool, unique experience. and obviously the most important thing was coming back with a gold medal. But the desire, the determination, and the confidence that all those women showed was, I thought, very special and unique.
Who is the better athlete, Julie or Zach?
I think all married men know there's only one answer. Your wife is better at everything than you are, and so I just always revert to that.
Zach, good stuff. Have a great season ahead. Thank you very much for joining us. And remember, Eagles fans, on the 29th of August, Julie Ertz and the United States national soccer team right here at Lincoln Financial Field. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
Smart man, smart husband. You can tell he went to Stanford, right?
He is such a good guy. And
He is.
That's one of the things that jumps out to me, just being around this Eagles team a little bit more now, is just the culture that they've established. There's a reason why guys like Deshaun Jackson, Vinnie Curry, even Darren Sproles want to come back. This is the only place those guys want to play.
They're down and long. Defense trying to hold and cannot. That's a good catch. The near sideline for Taywan Taylor, who dropped one earlier. Flag at the end of the play. That might be on the hit.
Personal foul, lowering the head to initiate contact. Defense, number 48. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Josh Hawkins gets flagged for the penalty. You can see it on the hit on the near sideline.
We saw a lot of these last preseason, and it's a point of emphasis again this year. If you lower your head to make contact or make forcible contact with your head, they're going to call it. And really what it comes down to, Scott, is if your head is the first thing that contacts the opponent, they're going to throw the flag. They've been talked to.
Open man downfield. Tannehill going up top. And incomplete. Taylor couldn't hang on as he spun around. Had a touchdown in his hands if he could haul it in. Hawkins chasing him down the sideline.
Not a great throw by Tannehill. Taylor looks like he's trying to field a punt. And give Hawkins some credit for catching up to at least get his hand in there to distract Taylor. It's one of the things about playing corner, really anything in the NFL, Scott. You can't let the penalty on the play before hurt you on the next play. They always call about that short memory. I'm not sure Hawkins had it there because he was beat pretty cleanly until he caught up.
On second down. And an open hole again with a flag down on the play. Jeremy McNichols finds his way inside the 30. That would be a first down. But once again, we went on a flag.
Holding, offense, number 49. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Parker Hesse, tight end, gets called for the hold. That erases that gain.
Even with the hold, I don't think Jim Schwartz is going to be real happy with the run defense here in the second quarter. You know, it's something that he talked about and takes a lot of pride in. And the Titans have been pretty effective running against this group.
3:20 and counting to go till halftime. Second down and long now for Tennessee. And Tannehill trying to get some of it back, but spinning his wheels and falling on the catch was Khalif Raymond. Could have had more, but he gets stopped just outside the 45. Here in my partner Ross Tucker, who's gutting it out tonight with laryngitis. You might think that he is doing a tip of the cap. My good friend Big Daddy Graham, who right now is watching us, I'm sure, tonight, trying to bounce back from a very rough situation. Just want to tip my cap to you, my friend, and tell you, keep at it. We're all pulling for you.
Absolutely.
You do sound a little like Big Daddy tonight, though. Third down, they got to get it to the 29. Tannehill down the middle, and there it is. First down yardage, heck of a catch. Knowing contact was coming from Raymond. And he's got it down inside the 24.
Too much time there for Tannehill again. And it looks like the Titans are going to take this to the 2-minute. Eagles are playing a zone coverage there. And that's wide open in the NFL. LJ Fort, I will say this, did a nice job delivering the blow with the right shoulder to Howard's shoulder. You know, initially I thought maybe they would throw the flag for that, but he did a good job of keeping his head out of it and not delivering forcible contact to the head or neck area.
Titans have done a good job of moving the football, and now as we reach the 2-minute warning, they're just outside the red zone once again. 2-minute warning, 4-point lead for the Eagles. Coming up at the half, Molly Sullivan talks to record-breaking Eagles tight end Zach Ertz on Sights and Sounds, presented by Santander. Santander Bank treats you and your money with respect. Learn more about how respect adds up by visiting santanderbank.com. Then we'll review the Temple halftime stats. Temple University, Philadelphia's public university, is a proud partner of our Philadelphia Eagles. Already seen an 89-yard drive for the Titans, and the Eagles defense trying to see if they can hang on here. This is 63 yards on 6 plays so far, and a couple of big plays against the Eagles defense, with the regulars looking on in t-shirts.
Almost seemed like, Scott, the defensive line was getting tired there, so you wonder if the 2-minute warning gives those guys a chance to get a little bit refreshed. I don't care how hard practice is or how many reps you do, it is not the same. You get into a preseason game, that first one, and you're 6, 7, 8 plays in on a drive, you are sucking wind, I promise.
As we said, it was a very warm day here in Philadelphia. It's gotten a lot nicer here now as darkness has fallen. From the 24. And great pursuit to the near sideline by L.J. Ford, who's been very active so far. Maybe a yard. Clock stops with 1:56 to go.
This is exactly what L.J. Ford brings to the table. Watch number 58 come running down the line. This is why Howie Roseman signed him. He's excellent on special teams and can really run. The Eagles like to have linebackers that have that defensive back background or have big-time wheels, because they can make plays like that and really help you out on special teams.
Bunched receivers up to the top now on second down. Tannehill has had time. Throws again, complete again, and this one falls out. He got it there. But once again, a receiver could not hang on to the football. Tannehill's now 10 for 13 in this game, and he's been pretty accurate.
And it was a nice job by Jonathan Cyprien staying with the play. Eagles got a little bit more of a rush there, but Cyprien kept fighting at the end of that play. You know, he's fighting for a role on this team, and he knows he needs to finish the play there. Looked like it was caught, but he kept fighting all the way down to the ground. And that was a significant incompletion, putting the Titans in 3rd and long.
Got to get it down to the 14-yard line to keep it going, the 10th play of this drive. Tannehill down the middle for the touchdown. Right up the seam to the tight end Anthony Ferkser, 23 yards on the touchdown as Tennessee retakes the lead.
Boy, that was a really pretty throw by Tannehill. Ferkser's in the slot to the left. Tannehill, again, way too much time. Just lofts the ball to Ferkser over that zone. I think Cyprien was supposed to be deep middle on that play. You never know for sure, but watch Cyprien's reaction in the background.
Yep. As it was, you had a tight end straight up the seam with a linebacker on him. Good touch pass. Tennessee missed a previous extra point, so they're going to go for 2 here. Four receivers to choose from. Tannehill, quick throw, and that is going to be good. Juggling catch in traffic from Darius Jennings, and it's now a 14-10 ball game. So now you're going to get an opportunity, and you like this opportunity. You're going to get an opportunity to run the 2-minute offense here late in the half.
Yeah, I mean, you're not happy, obviously, about the Titans scoring, but the silver lining is, and we'll see if it's Nate Sudfeld again, but to get the opportunity to run your own 2-minute drill, you try to do that drill and really work it hard in the preseason and training camp, but it's just not the same.
Eagles Kids Club is the perfect gift for the young Eagles fan in your life. Members receive an awesome welcome kit, access to exclusive events, and much more for just $20. Join now at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/kidsclub. lot of youngsters out here tonight. Well, Pumphrey will get an opportunity to get them into decent field position. Eagles with all 3 of their timeouts left. It's a little bit of a pooch kick. Pumphrey does have a chance to return. Out across the 25, up near the 28-yard line. Ball came out late. Was he down? The Eagles got it back one way or another. I thought the ground caused it, and it did.
It did. His elbow's down. He's still going to get an earful from Deuce Staley, because they never want that ball coming out of your hand. But he was clearly down.
Right now, they think it was a fumble and recovered back at the 27. The booth should be reviewing this, and they should give him a yard and a half back. Nonetheless, 2-minute drill time, and Sudfeld finishing out pretty good first half. 8 out of 14 for a $157 and a touchdown. Try to go to work quickly and across the middle of the field. It's going to be good for first down yardage, and Joshua Perkins out to the 38-yard line. Clock continues to run.
And the Eagles are moving quickly, Scott, but they don't have to be in a too big of a hurry. You know, a minute and a half, minute 15 now, that's a lot longer in the NFL than it used to be.
Late blitz coming, that's picked up, and dumping it off to Adams, who dances out of bounds with another first down out of the 48.
Gotta like the patience.
They marked him short, I'm sorry.
Yeah, gotta like the patience of Sudfeld there. Look downfield, it's not there. Take the check down, and they'll take 9 yards. They'll take that all the way down the field if the Titans are going to concede that.
Clock stopped with 1:03 to go, and a lot of options here on a second down and short. Sudfeld going to try to take what the defense is giving him right now, up near the 48-yard line. They were giving him the run. He took the run, and he took the first down out to the 50-yard line. And now the ball comes out, and it belongs to Tennessee. Isaiah Mack, rookie out of Chattanooga.
And that is very unfortunate for Josh Adams, because this is the issue he had last year.
Oh, yeah.
Ball is clearly punched out. Adams is a guy that had a couple critical fumbles late in the season last year, which is one reason why he didn't play as much in the postseason. You almost got the sense that the coaching staff lost a little bit of confidence in him, and that's not going to help it right there. That was clearly a fumble by Adams, something I know he's been working on.
Ty Smith punched it out. Isaiah Mack recovered it. First turnover of the game, and now Tennessee's got an opportunity with under a minute to play in the first half. They've got all 3 timeouts. Logan Woodside into the ballgame at quarterback now for the Titans, and he completes his first pass as Khalif Raymond scurries out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
And really, Scott, the coaches will be especially upset about that fumble, because it took away a great opportunity to see the offensive linemen in the 2-minute drill, the receivers, to see Sudfeld. I mean, it's not just turning the football over. Ultimately, the score of this game doesn't matter in the big picture. It's more important to get those reps for all those guys in the 2-minute offense.
On second down, it's open on the sideline. They'll take what's being given to them. And a catch and dancing out is Taylor after a 6-yard pickup and a first down.
And that's a little bit too easy, a little too soft by this Eagles defense right now. Titans still have 3 timeouts. They're already at the 35. You can't afford to play off that much. And this is a good opportunity for guys like Sweat and those young defensive linemen to flash here.
And now you got whistle and I believe a timeout.
Previous play is under review.
Check that. Previous play is under review. So inside 2 minutes, it's a booth review upstairs. Mike Vrabel, that mustache is new, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is?
I guess so. Yeah, it is awesome. Anybody that wears a mustache in their 40s, 2019 is awesome.
All right.
I didn't see anything here live. Right foot down?
It's whether the right heel was on the...
Oh, you know what?
He's out.
He only got 1 foot down. Wow. The way he caught that, it looked like initially he was in bounds easily.
Well, he was. That left foot was in the air for an awful long time.
Boy, he needs to put that left foot down. Right foot's clearly down. Left foot never gets down, has all kinds of an opportunity. Wow, that's in my mind, that's a mental error there by Taywan Taylor, a guy they really like. This is going to come back. That's a good job by the replay officers up here in the booth spotting that, because I didn't see it in live action. It didn't even look like he was that close to being out.
After review, the pass receiver's second foot was out of bounds. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down and 3 at the 40-yard line.
So Taylor, who holds every receiving record at Western Kentucky, with, as you point out, a mental error, and that means it's going to be a 3rd down situation for the Titans now with 47 seconds left in the half.
Got to think it's probably 4-down territory for the Titans. I don't know if they want to attempt a 57-yard field goal. So if you're the Eagles, you got to be geared up and ready for not just 1 stop here, but 2.
Tennessee's 5 for 8 on 3rd downs here in this first half. They've had a couple of extended drives. This one's set up by an Eagles turnover. 3rd down and 3. And the quarterback falls on a high snap. Logan Woodside sacked all the way back at the 48. You get a quick timeout call. He never had much of a chance on this play.
A little bit of a high snap, but he was still okay, and he just lost his footing. Look at all the defensive linemen in there. They know that's a real nice opportunity to show up on the stat sheet.
So 4th down, Tennessee trying to figure out what they're going to do, and with 44 seconds to go, you assume they're going for it. At Santander Bank, we want you to prosper. That's why we treat you and your money with respect. Learn more about how respect adds up at Santander by visiting santanderbank.com. A relaxing night for some. 4th down, they've got to get it down to the 37. Blitz coming big time. Escaping Woodside and throwing it away. The Eagles will take it back over on downs with some time on the clock.
Nate Sudfeld's had a pretty good night early on. It was a lot of Dallas Goedert, him showcasing his mobility a little bit, getting the ball out quickly to Goddard, who was really unstoppable in his couple series, and then the deep post to Markin Michel, beating a starting corner for the Tennessee Titans. I'd say overall, good night for Nate Sudfeld. You see the statistics there, no major mistakes, but he's not done yet. 38 seconds here. They have 2 timeouts. It would really be a feather in his cap if they could get down here and get some points.
Adams back in the game after he lost the fumble, and that throw tipped and incomplete, trying to thread it into Charles Johnson on the far side. Adoree Jackson there in coverage. 32 seconds left.
Probably the second time that Johnson hasn't caught a pass that he should have. He's just running a deep out there. Not a great route. You see him kind of swerve on that route. You want to break firm out.
No, 2nd down now. Titans showed blitz, fall back out of it. Sudfeld up on top. Great throw down the sideline. Incomplete. Arcega-Whiteside had coverage with him step for step. Again, it was Jackson on that far side.
Arcega-Whiteside just running what they call a 9 route straight down the field. Showing some pretty good wheels there, by the way.
It's good
but
coverage.
Outstanding coverage by Adoree Jackson. Arcega-Whiteside's good. He's not that good to be able to make a play on a ball like that. I mean, if anything, Sudfeld could have thrown it a little bit higher for him, give him a chance to go up over Jackson.
Birds are only 1 for 5 on 3rd down conversions. Sudfeld running out of time. And he'll throw it away with 19 seconds left to go now here in the half. Late flag. He got a late hit. It's going to get him a first down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 79. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, way late there. Way late. You'll see left side of your screen, 79, 1, 2, 3, and leads with the helmet.
Now Sudfeld got up kind of shaking his wrist a little bit. So he's going to come back out of the ball game. The
Yes.
initial.
Something with his left hand and wrist, I believe. You see he braces behind him with both of them. Both wrists are what break the fall there.
You can see the look of pain as he fell back.
And he reached for it right away.
Yep, for that left hand.
Man.
So Cody Kessler, who was slated to start the third quarter, it was a possibility he was going to play in the second quarter. Now gets pressed into service with 19 seconds to go here in the half. Temple University, Philadelphia's public university, is a proud partner of our Philadelphia Eagles. So as they look at Sudfeld in the 10, Cody Kessler, who's played in 17 career NFL games with 12 starts, will take the field and try to complete a scoring drive here before halftime.
Not an ideal situation to come in if you're Kessler, but such is life in the NFL as a journeyman and as a backup.
Low snap. Kessler firing wide, and another late flag. And I think there's going to be another roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 57. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Nigel Harris got there late. He lowered the helmet into the chest, almost right under the chin of Cody Kessler.
Yeah, I think the top of his helmet hit Kessler's face mask. Back-to-back highly questionable plays by the Titans. And man, let's hope the Sudfeld injury isn't serious for a lot of reasons, but it would be especially bad given that it was a late hit by the Titans.
So 2 roughing the passer penalties gives him a first down at the 22. Back to the ground, and Adams got nowhere to go. Now you're down to 10 seconds left here in the half, and the Eagles will burn one of their 2 remaining timeouts. You wonder if some of that might be a function of the fact that Kessler got rushed into the game, got hit really hard. Trying to figure out a way to get him ready to go for at least one more play here, and possibly 2.
Yeah, that's an interesting play call there, but I think if anything, Scott, that just reinforces the fact that sometimes coaches call plays in the preseason for very specific reasons. You know, they want to see a guy or certain guys in a situation, and I don't know what the thought was there. Maybe to get the fumble out of Josh Adams' head, something, but they had a specific reason for calling that.
On second down, Kessler a little bit more time and chased out of the pocket. Nowhere to go. Throws it away. Well, they live to see one more play now with 4 seconds left to go in the half. That was pretty good coverage downfield from the Titans.
That's happened a couple times on this drive. The play where Sudfeld got hurt as well, he could not find an open receiver. So that's not a good sign for the 2s and 3s at wide receiver for the Eagles, who they really like. They feel like they have good depth there. That's a couple times they haven't been able to get open.
Eagles are going to settle for a field goal attempt. Elliott's already hit from 53. This one will be from 40 yards out, what should be the final play of the first half. He had a good year percentage-wise last year, especially inside 50, but this one off the right upright and no good. You play golf, you ever feel like you hit a high push out to the right? That's exactly what he just did. And it catches the edge of the upright as the Eagles are turned away on the final play of the half.
Well, I was saying earlier, I was joking, saying that Jake Elliott's better from over 50 than he is under 50, but he is in this game so far. Although I think the Eagles are glad the last time the ball hit the post was against the Bears and it was in their favor.
Let's go down to Dave Spadaro.
All right, thanks very much, Scott. Coach Peterson, what jumped out at you in that first half?
Well, I thought, early in the football game, we executed pretty well on offense and defense. We got the touchdown there with Nate hitting Mark and Michelle. It was a great play. And then I thought we got a little sloppy here at the end of the second quarter. Ball got a little loose, some penalties. We had an opportunity here to get 3 points at the end, so we just got to tighten that up.
Nate went down. What can you tell us about his situation?
We'll assess it here at halftime and have more information later.
Cody Kessler gets the call in the second half?
Yeah, Cody, our plan was Cody to go in the second or third quarter, and so Cody will be up.
Thanks very much. Doug Peterson, Scott, back to you.
All right, so end of the first half, not exactly the way the Eagles wanted it, and Sudfeld will be examined. We'll have more on that coming up after halftime. Was the plan to begin the night? Those are the two quarterbacks you're going to see in the second half. The plan kind of changed late in the half, but Cody Kessler will get first shot at it. Clayton Thorson will see some time as well. Elliott's kickoff all the way back to the back of the end zone. And a touchback to begin for Tennessee here in the second. You're the defense. You take a look at what you did in that first half, and one of the things that we pointed out was 2 extended drives. That's not exactly what you want to be giving up, is spending a lot of time on the field, an 89-yard drive, an 87-yard drive. One of the things you'd like to do if you're one of these players who's playing for a spot on this team right now, see if you can get off the field in a hurry here on this first drive of the third quarter.
Yeah, and these are the guys that really need to make their mark and try to carve out a spot on this roster.
Woodside throwing quickly, big time hit by Josh Hawkins, and somehow hanging out of the football was Jennings. Or check that, Cody Hollister.
That's the second time that Hawkins has delivered a big hit, but he's given up too much of a cushion. Nice catch by Hollister. I don't know how those guys do that. It's unbelievable to hold on to a ball when you're getting smoked like that.
On second down, back to the ground. And running away from pursuit and sprawling his way to first down yardage, Dalen Dawkins, second-year player out of Colorado State. Jonathan Cyprian there to make the tackle. And so right out of the chute, a first down for the Titans to begin the third quarter.
It's been a while since Jonathan Cyprian has been in the second half of a preseason game, but that's where he's at right now. Coming off the torn ACL, getting signed during camp. Probably for the first time in his career, he's got to really prove that he deserves a roster spot.
Play action and a roll, and Cyprian proves, at least right there, that he's very much into it, holding it to a 1-yard gain on that throw out to the right. Let's go down to Dave Spadaro.
Well, I know everybody is wondering about Nate Sudfeld. No official update, still being evaluated. Obviously, Doug Peterson will update that after the game. And then on the defensive line, Deshaun Hall goes out with a shoulder injury. The Eagles only have 4 defensive ends on uniform right now, with the uniform on. Kassim Edebali, who signed with the team after Joe Osmond got hurt, Sharif Miller, Josh Sweat, and Vinnie Curry, who played earlier, very thin at defensive end.
Cyprian again pretty active, being right there with the receiver and holding to no yards after the catch. He'll set up a third down. Josh Sweat has been in it for a long time.
He has, and remember, the book on Sweat is very physically gifted. He's just had some durability issues with his knee that I think go all the way back to high school. So he's certainly given that knee a good test tonight, that's for sure.
On third down, throw across the middle, tip ball caught for a first down. How about that? Khalif Raymond kept his eyes on it, looked it right into his hands after that ball was tipped by Skandrick. And the Titans walk out with a first down at the Eagles' 38.
Look at the one-arm, long arm by Sweat. That's one of the things that he gives you. Maybe his best rush of the game so far, hitting Austin Pastor with the long arm there. That was really well done.
So a 19-yard pickup, and Tennessee quickly into Eagles territory inside the 40. Woodside setting up a screen. And late flag. I believe that's going to be coming back on the block after a pickup of about 5 yards.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Aaron Stinney called for the illegal block.
Let's go back to the play before and see exactly what happened. That's the one where Sweat had the pressure. Orlando Scandrick, oh man, perfect position. He's playing in the nickel. He undercuts it, and the ball hit both of his hands.
He's still frustrated about it now, 2 plays later.
That's one of the things about football. I mean, he did everything right. Read the route, broke on it well, and showed that he can still break on routes like that, even though he's a little bit older now in his career.
Now in his 12th year. Throw to the near side, and wow, that is some sort of athletic leap for the football. Did he get his feet in bounds, however? They say he did at the 30-yard line. Once again, it was Cody Hollister. 1, 2. Wow. That's a heck of a catch.
That is 2 outstanding catches for Hollister. And the Titans go right on the ball so that the Eagles can't challenge it, but they weren't going to anyway.
Incomplete on the far side, but Tennessee moving the football well now into Eagles territory. Point that Dave Spadaro made, though, is you're thin in terms of defensive end if you're Jim Schwartz right now. You'd love to see if you can not have the defense on the field for this entire of the second half, because you're going to have some tired defensive ends out there because there just aren't that many to play.
Well, and let's not forget, Scott, Doug Peterson told us yesterday that the ones get 70 to 75% of the reps. So these guys are only getting somewhere between 15 and 25% of the reps, depending on how they split it between the 2s and the 3s.
The third down coming up. Tennessee Titans call for a timeout. And at halftime, a gathering of Eagles legends out in the middle of the field. And the announcement that on Fantennial weekend, Bobby Walston is going to be inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame Sunday, September 22nd. An Eagle from 1951 through 1962. And he will earn his place in the Eagles Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Yep. That's the funny part. See the Super Bowl champion thing? Doug Peterson said he said it to his team once. Here during the course of camp, once. He said, I'm going to say this once about, habits and what you do that create a world championship. But he said he's not harping on it. He's not hitting him over the head with it. It's in the rearview mirror now.
Well, and when I asked him if it was easier going into this year not being the defending Super Bowl champs, and he said really the guys are just focused on that Saints game, and they're still angry about the Saints game. I feel like they were a play away from getting back to the NFC Championship game.
3rd and 2. That's a nifty running, but a late flag in the area of holding. I got to imagine that's coming back as it was close to first down yardage.
Holding, offense, number 89. 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Cole Wick, tight end, called for the hold. That's 8 penalties for 80 yards on the Titans. Eagles have been penalized 3 times in this game. Josh Sweat, who played 68 total snaps all of last year. Gonna match that total tonight?
Sweat is a good last name for him tonight.
Yep.
Because that's what he's doing, and lots of it.
On 3rd down, Woodside trying to step up, lost the football. Titans got it back. A diving recovery of that loose ball by Jameel Douglas.
Look who's back. Deshaun Hall. Both edges, you'll see both defensive ends with nice moves here. One arm stab by Sweat. Hall's the one that knocks it off. Hall right there, watch him with the right hand, and then he loses it, rips underneath. Hall has had himself a night in that battle for a 4th or 5th DN job. That's exactly what their defensive line coach, Philip Daniels, wants to see. Those two guys meeting at the quarterback in a big spot for the Eagles D.
So Austin Barnard, also a punter, trying to pin the Eagles deep. A juggling catch. Made it to the 5-yard line by Mark and Michelle. Flag on the play. Fair number of flags recently in this game. You don't want to see the game devolve that way.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 14. That 10-yard penalty, rather half the distance, will be enforced from the end of the kick. Timeout.
So from the 6, Kessler and company will be moved back to the 3-yard line after the defense holds early here in the third quarter. Kessler brings his team out, starting at the 3-yard line for the first drive of the second half. Kessler, as we said, by way of Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Good completion percentage in his career of better than 64%. 8 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in his 17 career games. And we get another flag. Going on the offense.
False start. Offense, number 80. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
So do you want the good news or the bad news?
At this point, I think I'm looking for good news.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you the bad news first.
So why'd you ask?
Doug Peterson does not like pre-snap penalties. The good news is that was like 3/4 of a yard penalty. It's about as little of a penalty as you can get.
They're running the ball on first down. Trying to create a little bit of elbow room as they get it out to the 4-yard line. On the carry for Wendell Smallwood.
You're always supposed to say, I want the bad news first. How do you not know that? When someone says, do you want the good news or the bad news, you're supposed to say, give me the bad news first.
It's the first time we're working together.
How do you not know that?
I don't even recognize your voice tonight. I mean, just give me a break.
Everybody I know knows that.
All right.
Okay.
This has a chance to be rocky. this has a chance to be a rocky marriage. I can see it coming. On second down, Kessler's got a big rush coming, got away, dumps it off, and Smallwood can't hang on. Isaiah Mack was coming at Kessler. He did a good job of dodging the rush and not taking the safety.
So the left guard, Sua Opeta, gets beat. Kessler evades him, is able to get out there, get the ball out there, just doesn't put enough on it. If he gets that out to Smallwood, Wendell's able to get 3 or 4 yards to make it third and manageable. Instead now, third and long, the offensive line has to hold up here, Scott.
Got to get it out to the 13 to move the sticks. They throw the bubble screen. Is the blocking there? Not enough. DeAndre Tompkins, the rookie out of Penn State, gets it out to about the 8-yard line, but that's going to mean the punting unit comes on, and they're going to be punting from the end zone.
Kessler keeps looking down at his hand, too. Remember, he's the one that also got a late hit from a Titans defender, the linebacker, when he got in there, and he keeps looking down at it and moving his hand. Look.
Yeah. Johnson needs a big punt here. Raymond's got a chance at a return as he gets it into Eagles territory. And he'll be dropped down inside the 47-yard line after a 47-yard punt, 7-yard return. Let us know where you're watching from using that hashtag Eagles Everywhere for a chance to be featured on this broadcast. They're holding it down in Virginia. First birthday today. How about that? Rio de Janeiro, I like that. This is going to be fun.
I love this.
All the way from Montana and Scranton, Pennsylvania. Titans right back to work. Eagles defense right back on the field. And you wonder if they begin to show signs of wear and tear after an 8-yard pickup on first down by Dalen Dawkins.
Well, they don't have very many defensive linemen that are up for the game. Most of the starters did not play, and they have spent an awful lot of time on the field as the Titans have really controlled the time possession.
On second down, blitz coming, and a great play straight down the line of scrimmage by Deshaun Hall.
He has really had himself a night. Former third-round pick, 74, left side of your screen. We'll see what happens here. And that's just a mental error right there. I mean, nobody blocked him, but a good job by him getting down the line and making the play. Someone's supposed to get at least a piece of him there, but you got to make the plays you're supposed to. He's made a bunch tonight.
Third and short has become 3rd and 5 now out of the shotgun. Woodside throwing. He's got a first down. That's been his safety net here in the second half. Another catch for Cody Hollister.
Hollister in the slot. He's working against Jeremiah McKinnon. And again, these guys are giving Hollister an awful lot of respect. I mean, he's catching all this underneath stuff and getting open pretty easily. I'd like to see them get up on him a little bit more. Make Hollister prove he can beat you deep. That's too easy.
So the first down. Drive continues for Tennessee from the Eagles' 34. On play action. He wants to go up top. It's not there. Throws underneath, and it's incomplete. Looking for Ryan Hewitt. Flag on the play, deep down the field. Looks like it might be against the defense. Maybe a hold.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 48. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, Josh Hawkins called for the penalty, and that will give another first down to the Titans.
Hawkins, top of your screen, covering Hollister again. And if you're past 5 yards and you touch up the receiver like that, they're going to call that every time. They've been instructed to.
So first down from the 29-yard line, past the halfway point of the third quarter. And Dalen Dawkins takes it down near the 25, a pickup of about 4 yards. Corey Unlin, defensive backs coach. He's got a lot more guys back there in terms of people he's evaluating over the course of these 4 games. But one of the things that we have seen is very good things out of Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas, who aren't playing tonight.
Yep, year 3 for those guys. And they're really starting to develop under Unlin's tutelage.
That's a good job of standing in against the rush for Logan Woodside. A lot of pressure coming. It's a 4-yard pickup. Deshaun Hall was the guy who was getting it on the quarterback again.
I mean, if you're looking for a bright spot tonight, the biggest bright spot has been that young man right there. Number 74, Deshaun Hall. Watch him. They try to cut him. And sometimes when you're a taller defensive lineman, they try to do that. But that cat-like quickness from Hall, he continues to show up, Scott.
Third down at 2. And a good job of stuffing the run. Josh Hawkins steps up, throws an arm in the air because he made the play one-on-one on the tackle, bringing up 4th down.
That is really well done across the board. Every defender was in their gap. Run defense is about gap responsibility. You'll see every guy is in their gap. So the running back really has nowhere to go but outside, right to Hawkins, who's the unblocked defender, and he makes the play.
Good one-on-one tackle.
That is really solid team defense right there.
4th down, they snap it quickly, and they're not going to get it. Eagles turn it off, and the crowd gets a chance to cheer. Bruce Hector plugging up the hole, and the Eagles will take over on downs.
These guys are tired, and you can see it, but they rose to the challenge there. Started with the penetration in the backfield by Hester, and then Hector comes in to clean it up. The Birds get off the field.
For the 2019 season with the latest Eagles gear available now at Eagles Pro Shop locations at Lincoln Financial Field, on Route 70 at Cherry Hill, and at the shops at Rockvale in Lancaster. Fair amount of gear on display right there.
I was surprised how many Deshaun Jackson jerseys I saw. I was trying to figure out how many of them just kept them for the last few years and how many went out and bought new ones.
I got to imagine a lot of people held on to them. Well, Birds back at it offensively. Kessler going out far side. Wendell Smallwood, that's going to be called incomplete. Down we go to Dave Spadaro.
Well, back in Philadelphia after a year in Tampa Bay, defensive end Vinny Curry. Vinny, what has it been like walking into the stadium in front of these fans? Great crowd tonight.
Oh, man, it's been amazing. You know, anytime you can perform right in front of the best fans in the world is always great.
Vinny, this Eagles team is obviously very special to you. What makes it so special?
It's home, man. It's home. I bleed green. So just being back and just being out here with the guys, especially the guys I started with, nothing means more.
Does it feel like you did not skip a beat?
Tonight we're just trying to get my feet back wet, but for the most part, I think I'm doing a good job.
Welcome back to Philly, man. Welcome.
You, bro.
All right, VC, back to you, Scott.
Tell you, it is nice to see the number of guys who call it home. You know, that they're coming back home again. Sean Jackson said the same thing.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I mean, Vinny even said when he went to Tampa last year on the big contract, he said it was just a long offseason. But the amount of guys that say that they'd rather play here than anywhere else. I mean, Sproles lives in Southern California, and the Chargers wanted to sign him. And he said, no, the only place I'm playing if I play is in Philadelphia with the Eagles. I think that speaks volumes to the culture they've created here.
After a holding penalty on the play, second down and Smallwood. The flag comes late on the hit, and I believe he got what would be is it a horse collar?
Yep, horse collar.
David Long Jr. reaching and
Personal foul, horse collar tackle. Defense number 41.
Yep, there it is.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
almost got the face mask in the front, then got the horse collar in the back.
And really, he got his hand inside of Wendell Smallwood's collar, but you don't even have to do that. Even if you just grab the nameplate and pull him down in that manner, they're going to call it.
We now have 16 penalties in this game for a combined 149 yards. 9 of those penalties belong to the Titans. Once again, just the short dump-off passes, and Smallwood trying to fly ahead, gets a yard and a half out across the 34.
It looked like they had something there. Yeah, there were 2 or 3 offensive linemen in front of Smallwood. He gets up kind of shaking his head a little bit. Not sure if he's frustrated with himself for the cut or frustrated with the offensive linemen that they didn't do a better job of picking up some Titans defenders downfield.
Well documented, Wendell, Wilmington, Delaware, grew up an Eagles fan. That's a quick move on the offensive line. I'm going to get another flag.
And that's the 3rd flag on Matt Pryor.
False start. Offense number 69. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So here's what you're looking for, Scott, from a backup offensive lineman in the NFL. You see Jeff Stoutland, the offensive line coach, writing down notes. Should probably have a red pen for that one. But you want versatility and you want reliability. Pryor is showing the versatility playing left tackle now, but not the reliability with the 3 penalties.
Not a whole lot of room for Smallwood to operate with out to the 32, so a 3rd down and long coming up. And once again, it was what, and Doug Peterson was talking more about the slow starts, as we mentioned earlier, that they got in games last year because of, in some cases, pre-snap penalties. He said those are the things that we work on right now these next 4 weeks and trying to eliminate.
Well, the year before, the Super Bowl year, they got off to a lead in every game. I mean, they were awesome in the first quarter. That's arguably the biggest difference between that team the last 2 years is how they performed in the first quarter.
3rd down, Kessler avoiding the rush. He's going to try to run and ducks out of bounds well short of 1st down yardage. Once again, didn't see a whole lot downfield. He steps out of bounds at about the 33, and that'll bring the punting unit on.
Nobody gets open here. Michelle breaks free late, but by that point, Kessler's way out of there. Agadosi, he's locked up. Tompkins locked up. That's happened a few times tonight. And I'm surprised. I really am, Scott, watching the second and third string receivers in camp. I mean, even Nate Sudfeld told us yesterday he felt like it was the best 2s and 3s at receiver that they've had since he's been here.
And another opportunity for a return up that sideline and out to the 50-yard line. Khalif Raymond has had himself a game in a lot of different capacities for the Tennessee Titans. After a 26-yard return, Tennessee takes over when we come back. Learn how your artwork can be featured in Game Day Magazine during Eagles Fantennial Celebration. Visit PhiladelphiaEagles.com/NFL100.
Deshaun Hall has been the brightest spot for the Eagles. Getting consistent pressure. What a nice job with his hands. You know, at this level, it's really about technique and hands, running down plays on the backside. And watch this move, the athleticism there. I mean, there's a reason, Scott, why he was a third-round pick. Texas A&M had him and Myles Garrett at the same time. That is unbelievable. Hall's a guy the Eagles signed last year in December, trying to make a name for himself.
Ryan Hewitt catches that ball from Logan Whiteside, a 9-yard pickup up the right side. No, there's no doubt that, and again, you're talking about a player in Hall like others who are trying to carve out what spot might be there. And one of the things that you're thinking about as you try to put all of this together, and you're the Eagles right now, is who's healthy, when are they going to be healthy, and you still have some questions that have to be answered there.
Right, and Joe Osmond had been playing well, another young defensive end, but he's on IR with a torn ACL, which may open the door for Hall.
First down run, but probably a holding call coming.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
David Quessenberry.
So this is what happens in preseason games, Scott, and there's a couple reasons for it. Number one, the guys are tired, especially in the first preseason game, because they're not used to playing game tempo this many reps. Number two, a lot of times you'll have young guys that haven't really played against NFL speed before. So you'll see the holding penalties because they're just a little bit slower, a little bit later than they're used to being.
On second down, Woodside lost it up there. Gives his receiver a chance to catch it or get blown up, and Hollister can't haul it in.
Good pressure by Sharif Miller, the rookie out of Penn State. He'll drop off, and then they call this secondary contain, really, and he hits the tight end, at least as a threat for Woodside. That's well done because he was supposed to drop in coverage, but then once Woodside threatens the edge to his side, he can't just let him break contain there. It's good adjustment mentally by Miller.
Third and a bunch, they got to get it to the 39. And there's a wide open receiver, late flag coming on the play. Cole Wick is close to first down yardage, but just shy of it. That flag was thrown by the quarterback.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 76. 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
I'm not sure he's the one who actually made that hit.
Well, Edibale got him first.
Yep.
And then you'll see right side of the screen, here comes Sharif Miller. Is it helmet to helmet right there? I think he delivered a forcible blow to the head neck area of Woodside. We'll take one more look at it. They're actually chipping Sharif Miller, showing him some respect. But it was that shot up near the head or neck area that caused the official to throw the flag.
So the third quarter is going to come to an end. Peterson's team not seeing a whole lot happening on the offensive side here in quarter number 3. They'll head to the fourth, still trailing this one by 4. Santander is proud to present the Eagles Legends Community. For stories and features about retired Eagles and the rich history of the team, download the official Eagles mobile app today. National Football League celebrating its 100th year. This season kicking off. Preseason game number 1. Eagles down by 4 as we go to the fourth quarter.
Preseason games, great time to bring the family out.
Now it's a party. First down Tennessee inside the Birds 25.
Woodside changing the protection here because he sees pressure.
Dropped back into the shotgun, but took too long.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Woodside's interesting guy, was from Toledo, went to Toledo, drafted by the Bengals, and one of a lot of guys in the NFL that played in the AAF. The Eagles have a couple of them at receiver, Greg Ward as well as Charles Johnson.
11 for 15 so far. Back to the ground. And a good job of getting into the backfield by DeAndre Hall. No gain on the play.
Hall's an interesting guy. Take a look at him right there. He's up in the box. He's going to knife in right there. Now that's a missed block by the Titans offensive line. The right guard should go off on Hall, but credit Hall for seeing it quickly and making the play. He's an interesting guy. He's got good length to him, can play corner, can play safety. Was on the roster last year, but even though they had a bunch of injuries, he didn't really get much playing time.
Coming back to the near side. Good job of wrapping up the receiver after the catch. Anthony Ratliff-Williams, the rookie out of North Carolina, making that play, and Josh Hawkins right there to meet him.
I think Hawkins, Deshaun Hall, and maybe Cyprian are trying to have a contest to see who can make the most tackles here. Watch Doug Peterson. Look at that, coming off an injury. Yeah. Peterson with the Michael Jackson back pedal right there.
That was almost a moonwalk, I agree.
That's because he lost 21 pounds with that intermittent fasting right there. He wouldn't have been able to do that 20 pounds ago.
Blitz coming, it's picked up to the corner of the end zone and a touchdown. Cody Hollister is having a big second half. They went away from the blitz as it got picked up, and Hollister hauls it in for the score here early in the fourth. 25 yards on the touchdown hookup.
Hawkins just lost the ball. I mean, he was in fine position. Look at him at the bottom of your screen. Watch Hawkins. He's in position, and he stops. I have no idea what he saw or why he stopped. That's his play all the way. And he's had a couple penalties. Now gives up a touchdown. Not the best night for number 48, unfortunately.
Eagles are a man short. Now trying to get everybody on the field in time before the snap.
Previous play is under review. Of course, it's a touchdown, so it's an automatic booth review. Not really sure what they're looking at. Ball, left, right. Ooh, I don't know, maybe that right foot.
We'll find out after the break.
Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by AAA. At AAA, roadside is our strong side. Go ahead at AAA.com. Bud Light, keep it crisp. NovaCare Rehabilitation, the power of physical therapy. NRG, the official energy provider of the Philadelphia Eagles. And tonight's broadcast is presented by Rothman Orthopedics at Jefferson Health, the official orthopedic and healthcare partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
As you can tell from the extra point, touchdown call holds up, and the extra point is good.
Take another look at it here, Scott. His left foot is in bounds. And we, again, didn't notice anything live, but watch his right foot. His right foot is definitely down before his left knee's down. If you look at that, that blue cleat is on the white.
That's what it looks like from here.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised they didn't overturn that.
Tonight's official reviews are driven by AAA, but it counts as a touchdown. The call stands. The official review.
Thank goodness, by the way, for AAA.
Get in trouble recently, did you?
No, but I have no idea how to do anything with a car. Like if I have a flat tire or anything, I'm not really a man. I don't know what I am, but I'm not. Like, can you fix a tire?
I can.
Would you do that, or would you call AAA?
Not anymore.
Yeah, you would call AAA.
I'm 54 years old now. I don't need to be jacking the car up anymore.
So it's an age thing?
Yeah.
Might
be an impatience thing.
Last time I did it was driver's ed when I was 16 years old.
On the return, a little lane to this near side, and DeAndre Tompkins. The good return out to the 25, a 30-yard return. Now that we've hit the fourth quarter, time for another quarterback change. Rookie Clayton Thorson out of Northwestern. Be the guy trying to bring the Eagles back right now from this 11-point deficit.
5th-round pick, started over 50 games at Northwestern. Very bright. It's been a lot for him, though, here in camp, just the volume of information. And Thorson's play takes on an added impact now with the Sudfeld injury and us still not knowing what his status is.
Starting it out on the ground. And an opportunity for Donnell Pumphrey, who's been strictly a return man in this game, to get an offensive snap and a little bit better than 5 yards on first down. Talking about number 74 all night. Sometimes in preseason you get an offense number 74 and a defense number 74. In this case, Ryan Bates, rookie out of Penn State, playing right tackle right now on the offensive side.
I was surprised he didn't get drafted.
Pumphrey again to the middle and about a yard shy of the first down.
Bates is a guy that can really play all 5 spots. And this is going to make me feel old, Scott, but I called 3 of his state championship games for Archbishop Wood up in Warminster at Hershey Park Stadium. His sophomore, junior, and senior year, all 3 years, his school went to the state championship game. Then he went to Penn State, started 3 years, had another year of eligibility, but elected to turn professional. And like I said, I thought he'd be a late round pick. Was a little surprised he didn't get selected.
Thorson was the open man, and he bounced it to Pumphrey, who had an easy first down. I would imagine that was nerves more than anything else, playing in your first game in an NFL uniform.
They call this pulling the string. Watch him. He didn't really throw it. He kind of just pushed it, steered it. That's what happens when you're not as confident as you should be.
Down by 11, though, they're going to go for it on their own side of the field.
I love it. But they got to complete that. I wouldn't hesitate to go right back to the same play. He was wide open.
Speaking of hesitating, they're going to have to get this play off quickly. There's only 7 left on the play clock. Out of the shotgun. Thorson an opportunity, and this time he doesn't get help from his receiver as Tompkins drops what would have been a first down, turning the ball over to Tennessee. Offense has really struggled here in the second half of this game, down 11. Bud Light, keep it crisp. Fourth quarter, and despite the score, youngsters who are here are still enjoying their evening.
So the good thing, Scott, about me being from the area and doing the Eagles games that all my buddies are watching, the bad news, they're all texting me, making fun of me now that I can't change a tire.
Well, it's good. I actually learned something, because if you and I end up driving anywhere this preseason, I know I'm not looking for any help.
Look, first of all, I would call AAA. Second of all, if I couldn't do that, you can just YouTube a video of it and refresh my memory how to do it. Okay?
You went to Princeton. It's not that hard.
They do not have flat tire 101 at Princeton. I guarantee it.
There's so many ways I could go with this right now. It's a very long preseason. Good job keeping the ball and keeping it hidden by Logan Woodside as he gets the first down inside the 20.
Woodside's done some positive things for the Titans. They've done a lot of boot action. And you'll see that time, Sharif Miller, they fooled him. It's a zone read right there. Woodside is reading Sharif Miller. When he closed on the running back, Woodside pulls it. Eagles run that play every once in a while. Nice job by him to slide. If the Eagles run that this year, you want to see Wentz get 5 to 10 yards and then get down.
Alex Barnes, rookie out of Kansas State, with the carry for a couple. You've played in situations like this over the course of time, and preseason games where it kind of got a little raggedy in the second half.
Yeah, watch Sharif Miller, Scott. Left side of your screen. This time he's going to be able to chase it down. You've got to go flat down the line, right down the line, and the Philly native gets in there. He's shown up a couple times today. It's always kind of a weird thing, Scott, because these guys that are in here, like Sharif Miller, played for Penn State last year in the Big Ten. Every game he played, there's 80, 90, 100,000 people. Right now, not as many, fourth quarter of a preseason game. But you got to be every bit as motivated in order to earn your spot.
And a timeout here for, I believe, a player who was slow to get up for the Titans. That is Cody Conway, rookie out of Syracuse. As I said, you got an opportunity over the course of your career to play in a situation like this. How do you keep that? How do you keep that motor running? I guess if you're trying to make a team, if you're trying to make an impression, this is your time.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, if you're out there right now, you better be giving it everything you've got. I've been on both sides of it. I've been a guy that played in the first half. I've been a guy that played in the second half. If you're playing right now, your job is on the line. Maybe not even roster, maybe just practice squad. And these reps are invaluable. I mean, there's no more two-a-days anymore. So they only have one practice a day. And even these third-team guys don't get very many reps. This is their shot. This is their shot at their dream.
They stuffed the run, and third down coming up.
And I'll give the Eagles credit for this, too. You look at their roster, and there are other teams. Scott, they'll have a lot of guys at the bottom of the roster that have no shot. They're undrafted rookies that they don't really have any redeeming qualities. You look at the guys for the Eagles out there, every one of those guys, TJ Edwards I thought would be drafted. They've got veteran guys, offensive side of the ball, Charles Johnson, Will Tye. These are guys that have started other places in the NFL, and they're third teamers here.
One-on-one up top, and that is going to be another touchdown. Tanner McAvoy hauls it in the front corner of the end zone for a 16-yard score. It was a well-thrown ball.
Yeah, it was pretty good coverage by Jeremiah McKinnon. He's got length to him, maybe a little bit late to find the football. That's just so hard because when it's a back shoulder throw like that to a big body, what are you supposed to do? I mean, are you supposed to stay on his back hip? And if they throw a fade to the pylon, they're going to be a touchdown. That's one where you kind of tip your cap, Scott, and say, You know what, those guys get paid too. Those guys can make plays there as well. I don't think McKinnon's going to get a whole lot of flack from the coaches for that one.
And the extra point is blocked. One big hand up in the middle of the line, blocks it away. And it'll stay a 17-point game.
Guess who? Trayvon Hester. That looks familiar. Ask the Bears.
Let's take a look at our Live Fearless play of the game presented by Independence Blue Cross.
Yeah, not a big conversation about which play this would be. Sudfeld gets great protection, throws the deep post, beautiful loft on the ball to Markin Michel. And the former Calgary Stampeder takes it to the house.
A little bit more on the bittersweet side, knowing that Sudfeld left the game with an injury at the end of the first half. I'll tell you what, Kessler still keeps playing a little bit with that right hand that has been, since he took a shot late in the half, but Sudfeld was the one who took the shot, went backwards onto his left wrist. A late hit here, roughing the quarterback called, and he knew right away he had a problem.
Yeah, right there. Very late hit. And that to me is the biggest takeaway from the game, Scott. You know, we all know what Nick Foles did for this team the last couple years. And I personally believe that Sudfeld is ready to be the guy, ready to be the next guy for the Eagles if called upon. We'll just have to find out what exactly happened to that left wrist in the coming days.
And this is the conversation. You talk about it, and people will be asking Doug Peterson throughout the week, well, you know, why don't you want to play this guy? Why don't you want to play Carson? Why don't you want... That's why. That right there is exactly why.
Because of a late hit by a guy trying to make the team.
If you're playing in a one-on-one situation in your own practice, or you're playing a practice like the Eagles will play against the Ravens in a couple of weeks, that's a controlled situation. That's not going to happen in one of those practices.
There's a red jersey on. But I would also say this, Scott, I'm not in favor of less than 4 preseason games, because these guys like Clayton Thorson right now, he needs these reps. He needs these opportunities. There's no more NFL Europe. You know, I mentioned earlier, there's only one practice a day. If you go, Thorson doesn't even get that many reps because they have 4 quarterbacks.
Right.
He needs this right now.
First down from the 25, and Thorson will get an opportunity to cut it loose. And he airmails it for an interception. JoJo Tillery with the pick. Brings it back the other way in the Eagles territory inside the 30.
Alex Ellis, they just signed him last week. He looked like a heat-seeking missile there from Delmar, Delaware. That's about the only positive thing you could say about that play. Has not been a great debut for Thorson.
Now he airmailed this ball well over the top of his intended receiver, Will Tye. And it turned into an easy pick for Tillery, second turnover of the game.
He had time. He stopped up. He stepped up in the pocket. Just airmailed the ball.
Good tackle by Ellis in the open field. Tennessee has dominated the time of possession here in this second half. Let's go down to Dave Spadaro.
Well, I've got some positive news for you. Brandon Graham is in his 10th season as a Philadelphia Eagle. Decided not to go into free agency. Instead, another contract for you. Why did you come back to Philadelphia?
Because, you know, I love Philly. I mean, the history we have together, you know, the ups, the downs. I mean, man. And then they treat me good here, so why would I want to leave somewhere, you know, that where they treat me good?
BG, you did not play in this game tonight. What happens? Take us onto the bench here. How do you keep yourself in the game when you're not playing in a preseason game?
Just rooting for guys, you know, learn people's stories as you go in camp, and, you know, it's one of those things where, man, now I'm a fan. I'm rooting for these boys because I know how hungry, you know, some of these guys are, you know, and so I just can't wait to see, you know, who all is going to make this team so that we can get that going too.
September 8th, Washington Redskins. What are you looking forward to with this season? What's your sense of this football team?
I'm sensing, you know, sensing greatness. You know, I know that we got the makeup. It's all about, I want to see how we handle adversity, because that's the biggest thing. How we going to handle when things get tough. You know, that's who we really going to find out who we are.
Brandon Graham, 10 years, Philadelphia Eagle, my guest on Monday's Eagles Live podcast. Have a great season.
Thank you, man.
Back to you, Scott.
Hey, you talk about how you handle adversity. How did that team that won the Super Bowl handle adversity? Remember how many players that team lost to injury?
Backup quarterback, backup left tackle. Very impressive. Brandon Graham's another guy right there that probably could have gone elsewhere for greener pastures in free agency. But as you heard him tell Spuds, he wanted to be here.
Defense on the field right now with a quick run out of the huddle on fourth down. Great job getting pressured, can't wrap him up. Not the first time, but the second. If at first you don't succeed, Ajane Harris, the rookie out of USC, the most recent addition to this team, stayed with it, and they turned Tennessee away on downs.
That is how you get noticed. Watch the discipline, right side of your screen. Ajane Harris, he doesn't fall for it. He's all over Logan Woodside. They signed him Monday or Tuesday. And that might have been one of his first snaps of the game. Undrafted rookie from USC. He's a guy that was a tryout player, Scott. You know, the weekend after the draft, they'll have the rookies in and they'll have a bunch of guys come as tryout guys. They didn't sign Harris then, but they stayed in touch, signed him this week, and now he makes a play.
Thorson gets another shot. This time puts it right on the hands of his receiver, Carlton Agudosi, who can't haul it in. Agudosi, an interesting physical specimen at 6'6" as a wide receiver.
Take a look at Agudosi, bottom of your screen. It's just a little in cut. I don't know why he stopped there. He slowed down his route. The ball would have hit him right between the 1 and the 4 if he kept going.
Back to the ground. Pumphrey pops out of the pack. Flag comes from about 30 yards downfield at the end of the play.
And that is usually a hold.
Looks like there's a matter of discussion here.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Sua Opeta.
Correction, number 48. Held.
Alex Ellis. I'm just going to keep, he's going to give numbers, I'm going to give names.
That was an awesome feeling for Opeta right there. When they said correction 48, that's about as good as it gets as an offensive lineman. Because you think they got you, and your mom in the stands or watching on TV is like emotionally devastated because they called your name out for a bad reason, at least your number. But that was a good feeling. That was an emotional 3 seconds for Opeta. I felt that, Scott.
How do you think Alex Ellis' family feels? There's two sides to every coin.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Pumphrey stopped, minimal gain, if at all.
And here's the problem with penalties, right? I think people know this, but you get into 3rd and 17, you look at any of the data, and your chances of coming back to get a first down after you have a penalty like that are really, really small. That's why they're so disruptive.
Well, Thorson's got a lot of ground to make up here. 2 plays to do it. He airmailed that one and almost got that one picked. Nigel Harris had it on one hand but couldn't haul it in. And they're not even going to bother trying on 4th down here. They're going to punt it away.
And that one, I'm wondering whether or not he and Tompkins were on the same page. You know, we mentioned there's only so many reps to go around, and you see Thorson is looking at the Jumbotron, trying to see exactly what Tompkins did.
Now a gunner on punt coverage. And Johnson's kick. This one's going to take a good bounce for him. Kind of a fair evening, but that's a good one. Down inside the 10-yard line all the way to the 8. So we found out some things tonight. We certainly found out about a couple of players and their motor and their ability to play. We saw Sudfeld play pretty well and then get injured. If you're the Eagles right now, based upon that situation and what's happened here in the second half offensively, are there concerns now in terms of the backup quarterback situation, at least for the rest of August?
Yeah, well, we got to find out, obviously, what happened with Sudfeld, but it didn't look good with him going off in the air cast. And we saw Kessler kept looking down at his right hand as well, so we'll see what his status is. I would imagine that the Eagles, at a minimum, will be considering their options now, because Thorson hasn't played well either since he's come in the game.
And Thorson, you know, as a young player, as a rookie out of Northwestern, it was, Doug Peterson was telling us it was kind of a slow start to things for him, but he was starting to pick some things up. Had some extracurricular activity when the play was over, and no less than 4 flags thrown at the end.
Wow.
Yeah, that's no good.
That is really not smart. Really
After
not
the play
smart.
was over, Personal foul. Offense, number 89. Half the distance to the goal line. It'll be second down.
Cole Wick. I've got to imagine that's not only going to cost them yardage, that's probably going to cost them some money.
It's just not smart. I mean, we talked earlier, if you're out there right now, you're trying to show that the coaches can count on you, that you're reliable. They can't do that. I mean, what if he had to go in a game and do something like that? You know, if the game was closer, or if it actually counted for the standings, that would really hurt them.
Their starting tight end when the season begins, Delaney Walker not playing, on his 14th year. Jonnu Smith got time for them last year. He didn't play. Mike Cole Pruitt, who played tonight, scored a touchdown.
This is what I love. This is what I love. Look at Jalen Mills and Malcolm Jenkins. They saw Jay Liggins, number 46, in the game making a play from Dickinson State out in North Dakota, an NAIA school. Then he played in the CFL. You gotta love the enthusiasm those guys have when they see one of their young guys make a play.
Big rush coming. And that ball popped out. They're going to say it's an incomplete pass.
Liggins again. Another play. Liggins isn't messing around out there.
All right, so maybe that little shot to the chest by Cole Wick fired him up a little bit.
Watch this. Liggins. He's playing zone, drops off, comes back for his buddy Wick, rips the ball out. That's well done. And so what happens now, Scott, is the coaches review this, and they say, all right, Liggins didn't get that many reps, but when he was in there, he made a couple plays, and maybe next week, Liggins gets more of the reps over Hawkins or over McKinnon in the second half. Works his way up the depth chart.
That is a short punt. Michelle fielding out of bounds and then getting rolled over.
And now Liggins is the top of your screen as a hold-up guy trying to slow down the gunner. And these guys know it. If you're going to make the team as one of the last 4 or 5 guys, or even the practice squad, you better show that you're a dog on special teams. I mean, you better show that you've got some special teams value. Jim Schwartz even mentioned that yesterday. He said you're really looking for who can be a backup, but really how much they help the special teams.
On first down, here's Pumphrey. And right now, it would appear that with 4.5 to go, in a lot of ways, the playbook is not wide open for the Birds offense that's on the field right now. And slow to get up, DeAndre Tompkins. And that is going to stop play at the 4:28 mark. We'll take it down to Dave Spadaro.
You know, I'd like to, guys, go around the horn here and talk about some of the things we saw tonight, because obviously it's much more than what the scoreboard says. The good things that I see from the field level, I thought Andre Dillard held his own and played well. I thought Jordan Mailata did a nice job at right tackle. Certainly the Nate Sudfeld injury is what kind of everybody's going to be talking about. We'll get the update from Doug Peterson after the game. But for what I talked about before the game, the edges offensively, Ross, you can speak to it better than I. You're up there. I liked what Andre Dillard did, and I liked what Jordan Mailata did.
Dave, I totally agree. That's well said. Dillard's a stud. I mean, early in camp, people were getting to his chest a little bit, and he had to adjust how to handle power, but he really performed well. And Mailata's almost gone the whole game, and much like last year, has performed better in the game than he has in camp.
Orson throwing off back foot, overthrows on first down.
And I got to say this also, guys. It will be interesting. We do not know the severity of Nate's injury, but if it is a significant injury, a move likely you kind of think have to be made. The way Cody Kessler, the way Clayton Thornton Thorson have performed, you know, Howie Roseman always keeping his eyes open. There's always an emergency list. You wonder who's on that list.
And Cody continues to play with the inside of that right hand. On third down, Thorson, good throw. And that second effort is going to be about a half-yard shy of the first down. I'll throw my hat into the ring on this one in terms of what we saw. Dallas Goedert was going up against first-team defensive players for the Titans and had 50 yards receiving and couldn't be covered in the first quarter.
Yeah, he was awesome. And it's funny, when Dave just mentioned the quarterback position, the first name that came to mind for me in terms of guys that are available right now is Josh Johnson, who did some nice things for the Redskins at the end of the year last year and is currently a free agent.
Thorson just way too high, and you got a flag on the play that probably will keep the drive alive at 3:31.
Pass interference, offense number 48. That penalty is declined, and the ball will go over on downs to Tennessee. First down.
Take a look at Thorson. He's got a wide open receiver. Nice job by Mailata. Steps into it, feet are set, and just throws it too high.
It's almost like he's guiding the ball in this situation.
You know, and he was known really for his accuracy at Northwestern, but has not really shown that in camp, and certainly not here tonight.
He threw for over 10,000 yards in the Big Ten. Just not his night, as we pointed out. And the defense trying to remain stout to close this game out.
You love seeing this too.
Yep.
Carson Wentz over there trying to help the rookie out. You know, going to training camp, Scott, I take notes when I go, and the one thing I wrote down that really stood out to me, the injured veterans, guys like Fletcher Cox and Rodney McLeod, how engaged they are at camp. I played for 5 teams. It's not always like that. Again, speaks well to what the Eagles have built here in terms of a culture.
Flag on the play. I think there's going to be a defensive hold, and there might be something else in the middle of the field as well, because it really wouldn't be a play in this game in the fourth quarter without a flag.
Watch Deshaun Hall. He's the edge defender there. He's going to break out, and they're probably going to get him right there for that grab. You know what I think is weird about that, Scott, is just how does he know at that moment the guy's not going to try to block him?
Defense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
In other words, as that guy's coming to him, how does he know? Now, obviously, when the guy starts to get past him and he grabs him, that's a hold. But for a split second there, he doesn't know whether or not that guy's going to try to engage him or not. And really, if he just hit him rather than grabbed him, he would have been okay.
Yep.
It's the grab.
He was behind the line of scrimmage. It would have been fine. Hard yards for Alex Barnes across the midfield stripe and into Eagles territory. Clock ticking now, and a few plays left to go in this game before it's wrapped up.
I love just looking at Mailata.
Oh, yeah.
6'9",
Stand next to him.
350.
It's ridiculous.
It is. He's 22 years old. There's only 2 guys younger on the team. He was rocking an awesome mustache yesterday. He just cut it.
He is a physical wonder.
And it's been a little rough for him in camp, but he's done well tonight.
We've reached the 2-minute warning here in the fourth quarter with Tennessee sitting on top of a comfortable lead.
Sent it. I want to throw it 70 yards to Deshaun. Give the people what they want to see. I'm mic'd up. Anything you want to tell the people?
Yeah, I want that jersey.
Anything else you want to tell the people?
No, I'm focused on this right now.
Hey, good hands, 10.
It'd take long for Carson Wentz to be right back in the middle of things at camp this year. Our next game, next Thursday at 7 p.m., the Eagles down in Jacksonville taking on Nick Foles and the Jaguars. This is what the Eagles did in the offseason to try to improve things for Carson Wentz once the regular season gets here. Jordan Howard, Deshaun Jackson. Carson, of course, extended. And the first 3 draft picks, offensive players.
And we saw positive things from all 3 of them. Dillard, Arcega-Whiteside, as well as Miles Sanders, who didn't get a whole lot of opportunities. And it's a little thing, Scott, but they traded for Howard and Deshaun Jackson. So those guys don't count against the compensatory pick formula for next year. It's just one of many ways in which the Eagles organization is ahead of a lot of the other teams in the NFL. Howie Roseman and his entire staff, the analytics department, they do such a good job. They really leave no stone unturned to improve this football team. It's impressive.
And once again, doing a great job of reading the defense. Logan Woodside slides down with a first down. That'll pretty much put a bow on this game as the clock runs with 1:44 left to go. As we said, kind of a relaxed night after 2 pretty solid, steady weeks of work in which the ones were facing the ones a lot of the time in practice.
It'll be interesting too, Scott, just to see how many reps the ones get next week in Jacksonville. You know, you almost wonder if the Sudfeld injury gives Peterson pause for how much he plays Carson Wentz next week. You know, you'd expect him to play a little bit, but do you risk it? Especially with the backup quarterback position potentially muddled now.
Tell you what, I don't want to be making that decision. And that should do it. Jane Harris makes, it'll be the final tackle of the game. And the clock will run out on preseason game number 1, which goes down to the loss side for the Eagles, to the Tennessee Titans. Dallas Goedert, a good game. Dillard, a good game in the left tackle spot as well. Well, thanks for joining us for the beginning of the Eagles 2019 preseason. Join us next Thursday, 7 p.m. The Eagles travel to Jacksonville, take on Nick Foles and the Jaguars. Stay tuned to NBC 10 for the postgame show. Or go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com. For Dave Spadaro and Ross Tucker, I'm Scott Graham. The final, Tennessee 27, the Eagles 10. We'll talk to you next week.